Lodestar Esports now coming over to this bear, and the Volibear seems to be first to be going in with the ultimate. Sejuani ultimate missing the backline completely. MF ult coming down, taking down only the Volibear with the Vi ult in the backline on the ADCs. The jungler's gonna go down. Be a triple kill for the way, maybe even going for a quadra.
Hello, welcome. We're casting some NLC today. Pretty excited. Joined here by Luna on the Lodestar stream. Exciting games, of course. NLC Esports. I've heard of them. I've heard of a few of their players. I don't know how much you know about these two teams, but I'm pretty excited to cast these games with you. How do you feel?
I am very excited. It's nice to be back with the Aurora Cup. Of course, last time we saw this was last year. Yeah, that tracks. Pro-Ams are once a year. And it was a very exciting tournament. I'm expecting it to be just the same now, especially with so many of the up-and-coming teams from, NLC Division 2, SOL Division 1, UKL Division 1, all the other kind of third divisions, the regional leagues, getting a chance to come and contend with the best from Division 1 and Division 2 of the NLC. It's always a pleasure. Now, looking more specifically onto the matchup for today. Well, not quite specifically, but we are looking onto the matchup for today, and it is Nord Esports versus Regem in game number 1. Rosters are on the screen for you. For Nord, we've got Hespo, Scood, Hunt, Atlas, and Velocity. And for Regem, we've got Raider, Schofield, Fierce, Lundgaard, and Simpy. Savonix, can you tell us a little bit about these players?
Yeah, so already straight off the bat, some recognizable names. I think we've seen them play across the board of the regional leagues in the European scene. Scood is one thing that immediately pops out to me. I remember this guy at the very start of the ESL Premiership, all the way back in, God knows, 2017, 2016 even, I'd say. And he's worked his way up very, very slowly throughout the ecosystem. He's played basically in most of the European leagues, different regions as well, and he's such a well-known and very well-experienced individual. He's paired with Hunt in the mid lane. I know this guy. I remember watching his Tristana in the NLC, an incredible talent and at class. I think me and you share the same admiration for how talented this player is, and on the other side, we have returning players. Raider coming back. He originally was part of that X7 roster that we all know and love, and Lingard, previously a sub of Fnatic as well. I don't remember him having any games, but was definitely listed as a Fnatic sub, and he is featuring today as well. And yeah, I know Fierce, Simpy, Schofield as well. Very, very talented players. So this is a very high level game, and I'm excited to see how these two teams battle against each other.
Absolutely, it's going to be very, very interesting. And the champions that are most played in solo queue are on your screen, as well as some contested picks. But it is important to mention that we are on patch 14.19. We are on the most recent patch that we have received, and that comes with a whole host of interesting things.
Yeah, it does. This is essentially a durability patch. It's very, very different to what we've seen in recent times. Before this big change, we were in a meta that was, I would even say, borderline like a burst meta, where you see like MF in the bot lane was just pick or ban, and fast-paced games was kind of the story. However, this time around on the new patch 14.19, it's all about durability. Games are taking longer. I think I know you have you might have like a stat on how much longer games are taking, but it's slow and steady. Tanks are very strong. They've nerfed a lot of the bruiser items. They've buffed a lot of the tank items, adding resistances, even making damage items more expensive, making tank items cheaper. So I'm curious to see how both these teams adapt to the new patch, because I know durability changes can often negatively impact teams, especially when some of their players are, you know, I don't know, let's say a player's really good on assassins, that like, just let me just one-shot someone. This time around, can't really one-shot people in the same way you used to be able to, so very different meta.
Absolutely, and as we always see with tank metas, it breeds two things: bruisers and AD carries being extremely strong in order to combat it. However, before we go into the intricacies of the patch, I would just like to note that we are extremely glad to be partnering with Verdant to help out with their initiative on ecology. We are matching donations up to 1-to-1, up to €1,000 with a minimum €500 donation. So if you want more information on that, go to the Lodestar Twitter. There is a statement there on that. Now, we were talking a little bit in the green room about this patch and what's strong and what's not. And the first thing that came up was Storm Surge and Control Mages.
Yeah. I mean, Syndra Orianna, it's no secret right now. Azir Corki has been pushed off the ladder as Syndra Orianna. They are just the two best champions in the mid lane. It's contested even. And the weird thing about it is like, a lot of the times I see teams wondering, do we ban one, take the other? Do we leave both, take that skill matchup, trust our mid laner to play against whatever we take versus whatever the opposition takes, and hope for the best? And so it's kind of like, it's interesting to see what kind of like almost like politics teams play in the drafting phase. Like, we want the Orianna, but we also don't want you to have Syndra because both champions are so strong. And it's quite funny, because I think back in the day, I remember people getting really bored of Syndra Orianna metas. They were just like, oh, here we go again. But then after the recent meta of like just AD carries in mid lane, just infinite sustain, everyone's like, please, everyone's like, please bring back Orianna Syndra, like, please. And now it's back, so it's time for these mid laners to show their skill expression.
Absolutely, and mid is not the only place that has received major change. Support, another role that is seeing a bit of a shakeup. We've been seeing a lot of Leona Nautilus for ages. As we head into Champion Select, we'll be able to run you through the draft in real time as it happens. Of course, Nord on blue side. No, Regem on blue side, Nord on red side. My apologies. So the Yone is immediately banned away. It's another one of these big priority picks from this patch. But support, we've gone from Nautilus Leona every game to Enchanters are now viable with a new capstone, with the reworked Moonstone. But engages are still also perfectly fine. So
exactly,
what do we pick there? And then you've got Tempo back for AD carries, which has completely blown that wide open.
Yeah, I know it's really interesting, and this is probably like we were mentioning the first time I've seen an enchanter meta where engages are kind of still viable.
Yeah, absolutely is. As we can see, Ziggs, Hui, both taken off the table. AP bot laners have risen up a step. And Lingard, no stranger to playing these champions. The Udyr, possibly the best jungler on the patch. I mean, this guy loves both durability and damage changes, and he got both in recent patches. As well as that, Ivern taking away one of these non-bot lane enchanters. And immediately the Syndra's gone.
Yeah, Syndra's gone. That kind of signifies maybe an early Orianna pick. But again, another champion that's risen into the meta as a back of the durability changes is Skarner. You can flex us into jungle support, even top lane, if you're feeling comfortable to do that. And, well, picking that first is definitely not a bad shout. That's followed with a Lilia Ezreal. Ezreal is also a champion that's kind of gone is benefited positively off the new changes as well. And well, Ashe is a champion that we discussed is very, very strong too in the AD carry position. So that's being hovered. No surprises so far.
No, none at all. And Atlas, a very good Ezreal player individually as well, right? As if this gets locked in, we have a lot of flexibility. This Kai'Sa suddenly, with the change, make the changes to lethal tempo, you can go the standard, on hit into full AP. You can go the full on hit AD build. You can still go the AP build to a degree. The crit build is kind of dead. We don't talk about the crit build, but you have a lot of flexibility in what you can be doing with this Kai'Sa, especially with the reintroduction of tempo and press the attack still being very, very strong. So I don't dislike this, especially when you know you're into an Ezreal that needs to get Trinity Force, Muramana, Serildus to really come online.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Ezreal does take time to hit a power spike, and well, right now you have a lot of time to do that. I do see Pyke. Oh, I do see it. I see a Darius. No,
That's a
okay.
Darius. That's a blind Darius on 3
That's
on
really
blue
interesting.
side.
Yeah, that's really interesting because I was going to say Darius, of course. I do like Darius in certain scenarios. I always find Darius is one of those situational champions, and this is why you do not blind Darius early on, because this has to be one of the most unplayable lanes for any Darius. Doesn't matter how good you are.
Hespo Vayne. As we get into the second round of bans, we've already seen a very spicy draft come at us so far. Of course, Raider getting that Darius. Raider, a known Darius player, no less, right? Raider is incredible on this champion.
Yeah, really, really talented Darius player. But again, like I said, up against a Vayne, it's so difficult. And I think what's even more difficult is Darius just don't take teleport. Neither does Vayne top lane usually. So there's no punishable sort of angle there for a non-TP top laner because they're both probably going to run Ghost. And obviously, like I said, the trouble is Darius is merely Vayne is one of the best champions to punish that in a solo lane. I hear people even say Vayne's not really an AD carry anymore. She's basically a top laner at this point. So yeah, it's going to be a tough one, but of course, if the Darius can get out of the laning phase, maybe join up in these skirmishes around the topside objectives, that's kind of where I see his strength will come.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the thing with Vayne, right, is you get to level 6 so much quicker in a solo lane. Your level 6 is a massive, massive power spike to your champion. Just take a look at the bans. Braum taken away by Regem. Rel and LeBlanc banned away by Nord. So we're taking away some of these stronger engages while also getting rid of the annoying mid lane picks. We are going to have to blind for Nord on the 4 here. So the question is, what do you blind? Do you blind mid? Do you blind support? Which lane means more? And with the Ashe banned away by Regem, they're thinking Nord could potentially run a triple AD carry and throw this Ezreal mid. The Leona will be locked in, and we said Leona and Nautilus had kind of gone the way of death. Maybe not. We won't talk about hovers for now, but it is just going to be Leona and Nautilus. We're back, friends.
Yeah, I'm not too sure how I feel about this. I feel like there are definitely better options, especially, I mean, I get that on Nord Esports, you do want some frontline there, so that Leona definitely does make sense. But on the side of Regem, I definitely think something more defensive to stop this Leona from engaging could have been picks. Like, I know, like, Poppy's open right now. Poppy goes crazy good this game up against Vayne and Leona. But Nautilus, I guess it's reliable engage because, what do? Press R, that's basically it. It's good to tag onto the Vayne. I definitely see that as an angle. And Diana locked in last. I don't know how much I'm a fan of this one because I'm assuming Dinah's going into the mid lane. Not my favorite mid lane pick at the moment, especially blind as well.
Yeah, and the Silas on 5 will just secure that as well. This is interesting because haven't seen Dinah mid in a long, long time. It has been much more of a jungler in recent memory because it struggles in the mid lane.
Yeah,
So
it does. I think one of my criticisms of Diana mid lane is like you need to snowball. If you don't snowball, you're gonna be so useless at the latter parts of the game, and like even against a Silas who probably should just be able to out sustain you with the Kingslayer. Like I see it, I'm finding very difficult angles for this Diana to be utilized in the best way possible. In the
especially
mid
with how
lane,
mobile the enemy team is, right? So
exactly.
as you get later into the game, you're looking at trying to catch a Vayne, and Ezreal, or Lilia, and a Silas, and it's just not going to happen. However, that being said, the Silas does only have 2 good ults to take.
That is true. However, he can kind of. I mean, to be fair, you can take the Diana ultimate, you can take the Nautilus ultimate, you can take the Skarner ultimate. So there are some decent options. I just think I'm not a fan of the Silas. I actually think there was a better options outside of the Silas, especially against the Diana.
Yes.
If you just run the Oriana here, it's like kind of lost in draft, even from just from a meta standpoint. Like
I was
Oriana
going to
just
say, if you're
comes with
running
it.
double AP mid jungle, you definitely want to do it with something that is just very strong, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I think my biggest problem with Diana, right, is that she likes it when team comps group up. I'm looking at this Esports team comp. They are not going to be fighting together. The fights are going to be all over the place. Silas and Lilia will be playing frontline. Ezreal Vayne will be doing AD carry things in their specific ways, and Leona will be jumping in. So, yeah. I mean, we'll see. Diana does have to get ahead early, and maybe if Diana does, then can be a big performance.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll have to see as we do get into the game. But just looking at the draft, just looking at what we've got in front of us, are you leaning either way currently? Do you think either of these teams could pull away with an edge in the early game?
Mm, I think now the one thing for me is that the win conditions on Regems are very, very slim. It's like Diana and Darius need to not lose their lane super hard. Of course, if they manage to get out of the laning phase ahead or slightly even, then there's a lot of ways for them to win this game. But it's a Vayne into a Darius, it's a Silas into a Diana. It's like it's easier said than done. And so based off that, I'm going to have to put my vote for NLC Aurora.
I very much agree. I think Nord's draft generally it's got the 3 big things that we look for in drafts, right? Ease of execution. You are playing a standard composition. You are playing triple frontline with double AD carry backup. You've got very good win conditions because you've got 3 things you can play through, and you've got very good area control. Swirl
Yeah.
Seed, Solar Flare, Zenith Blade, Abscond Abduct. There is a lot of ability for you to keep an enemy out of an area with what you have in your kits. So Nord definitely putting away with a slight edge in draft, but draft is only half the battle. And shortly, we will be getting onto the Rift to bring you game number 1 of the day between Regem and Nord. And it's going to be interesting to see these 2 teams face up because Nord, if memory serves, NLC Division 1 team, correct? Whereas Regem, one of the regional league teams. So it's going to be interesting to see as once, for the first time today, we are on to the Rift for the first game of day 1 of the Aurora Cup.
Yeah, that's a really, really nice point you made there, is that the obviously one side of the Rift is playing and competing at a higher division than the other. However, I make my point. I see the Aurora Cup, I don't know if you watch traditional sports, but I see the Aurora Cup kind of like the FA Cup. One of the beauties of it is that, a lower team can defeat a higher level team. These are best of ones. Anything can happen. Upsets. They're like the whole premise of this cup is that there is a chance for the underdog to pull through and win. And so as much as higher divisions are the favorites, I think if you are part of regional leagues, it's not necessarily meaning that you are counted out, and it's a really, really good chance for some of these lower level teams to compete against the best in the region.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, we are into a little bit of a pause as a couple of the Nord players experience slight ping issues getting into game, but we'll be back on the Rift for you shortly once that is resolved. Now, Are we expecting any level 1 shenanigans this game, Savonix? Do you think either of these teams are going to look for something very strong on the first in the first 5 minutes?
So I was, actually just as we were loading in, we saw some movements towards the top side of the map, right? So that could possibly be the case. However, I think, okay, the one thing about Regem's team composition is that they do have a Darius, and at level 1, very, very powerful. You get one reset, and it's kind of just rough. Not reset, but like passive stacks onto any targets. It's pretty rough. But of course, Ezreal Vayne, pretty lethal in level 1, so I wouldn't be surprised to see any entry. One champion does have a hook, the other one doesn't, so there is that. However, I think at the start of the game, if I was Nord Esports, you kind of almost just want the lanes to play out by themselves. You've drafted winning lanes already, so you just want to naturally let them win. You don't want anything chaotic to occur. You don't want to risk anything breaking out and losing a chance to get ahead early. But, I mean, there is a top side invade. But I don't think anything will happen.
Has been spotted out.
Yeah, really nice pathing actually there by Raider to, I don't know, get the insight into if anyone was moving into the top side bush. So no invades happening, no level 1 shenanigans, but you can see vision already planted by Regem in the jungle of Nord. That is going to give information if Scoot decides to path anywhere near around that top side of his quadrant. He's going to get spotted out. And it's pretty good ward coverage for the Darius Vayne matchup. Of course, one of the problems with this lane is that Darius, it's not easy. It's a troublesome one, and he needs to be protected as much as possible. You actually almost want to play for the Vayne as well if you are on the side of Nord. So making sure you know where the enemy jungler is a good start.
Yeah, absolutely is. It gives you so much freedom to be able to play the game at a pace that suits you, right? Is the most important thing, is you are playing at your pace. And when you outscale the enemy, playing at your pace is A-okay.
Exactly.
Now, we normally don't see interaction until first objectives. Do you think these teams have priority on either of these objectives? Because I think we're probably going to see Nord go for grubs.
So, I think the fact that I've seen a Diana lock in, and the response to that is a Silas, I don't think these mid laners are looking to chill. I think these two guys are willing to be... they're literally like, I'm here to skill check you, and I don't care if it's right or wrong. I will fight you. I will gap you with my own hands. So, if there is action, I'm looking at the mid lane for that, of course, top side. Whilst Vayne is a Darius bully, I know a lot of top laners, Grandmaster challengers that have no idea how to play ranged champions. So there is that aspect. I'm curious. I need to keep my eyes on the top side just to see if this Vayne is able to space properly, because that is one of the biggest factors into how you play this matchup. So the solo lanes is where my focus is going to be. How about you?
I'm looking quite handily at this jungle matchup because, Lilia Skarner both kind of want to just clear till 6, but they're no slouch in ganking pre-6, right? So you've got Skarner, the ability to come through walls is very good. Lilia, the ability to just immediately burst out a target out of nowhere is incredulous. It is disgusting, especially in the early stages of the game, if you can land the sweet spot of that W. So depending on which jungler gets out onto the map first and gets things going, I think is going to set the pace of this game entirely.
Yeah, definitely true. And it's actually two different archetypes of jungle. One side, Skarner, very wanting to play early game ganks and start skirmishes up for his team. The other side, Lilia, is a power farmer. You don't want to force anything too early. You just want to get some camps, get those early items, and then that's where you start making plays for yourself. But see some interesting interaction here. I like what Raider's doing, pulling the wave, possibly creating some wave manipulation there to help him get through this laning. It's still going to be difficult regardless of what he does, but yeah, I mean, I personally don't imagine anything breaking out too early. As I said, these mid laners will probably just duke it out, fist fight non-stop. But one thing we actually haven't mentioned here is we have a Kai'Sa Nautilus, traditionally known as one of the strongest 2v2 bot lanes, and so whichever bot lane hits level 2 first, I wouldn't be surprised to see a straight up flash engage.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Then on level 2 for Fierce. Lands on level 1. Atlas already having to blow the barrier. Velocity just tanking up the rest of the damage. There's a lot of infighting, like you were saying. Just kind of things going to be going on left, right, and center. Meanwhile, junglers are reverse pathing each other. As Raider just taking a lot of damage, as you do in the Vayne matchup.
Yeah, so much fighting between the lanes. You kind of see there. You hit level 2 first, simply not needing to use the flash as the wave was positioned and where we had full access to get a dredge line on top of the Ezreal, so was completely fine to not blow anything aggressive. And immediate trade, blowing that barrier off the Ezreal is going to help them as well. Opens up some angles for 2v2s whilst that is on cooldown. But yeah, mid lane so intense in terms of the trading. See Hunt already quite low in the health. But, I mean, we'll see. No Ignite on either of these melee mid laners. So, you know, obviously kill pressure a bit lower, but still, both these champions, we all know, do so much damage, as you can already see. And Hunt might actually need to start a recall quite early on into this lane.
Yeah, definitely getting bullied out in the early stages. Kind of what you expect out of Diana. This is what the champion was very good at when she was more of a mid laner. You can see both junglers looking to go for first scuttle. Bit of trading back in the bot lane again, but nothing too crazy coming out just yet. There's a ward up towards that top side, in a defensive ward for Raider in their own jungle to allow for the safety of potentially saving against a dive.
Yeah, I'm actually really impressed with the way Lingard and Simpy are taking control of this bot lane. I think Leona, Ezreal, they are quite annoying to play against for obvious reasons, but, you know, they haven't stopped the aggression. Simpy's been, you know, able to hit a few dredge lines already in the laning phase, and no flash was blown just yet. That barrier still yet to be punished. Mid lane, Hunt is taking a lot of damage. Actually, I want to point out, Fierce did go for the phase rush, and one of the problems with Diana, right, is in order... Oh, poking the bot lane, I'll stop my point.
Leona taking a lot of damage as Atlas jumping forward with the Arcane Shift. Again, just a little bit of trading, as you were.
Yep, as I were. Diana needs to go melee range in order to get a trade-off, which means you are at risk of being traded back yourself. But because of the phase rush, you drop 3 spells on your opponent, just zoomies away, and top side...
A fighting all across the map. We can see jumping forwards, Atlas jumping forwards. Velocity going to be the first to fall to the Ignite. Now Simpy next on the ledge, flashing away, flash followed by Atlas. Now, Lingard having tried to run away. Atlas will fall, a flash away from Lingard, which should get him to safety. Never mind, as Scoot goes under the tower. Because the second kill is a 2-for-2 in the bot lane and nothing in the top side.
It's a 2-for-2 in the bot lane, but the biggest thing, the first blood unfortunately went to the Nautilus. You can see kills traded very, very evenly. 1 kill on the Kai'Sa, 1 kill on the Ezreal, but the most important thing is Scoot managed to pick up a lot of gold there, and the cross-map play was executed and called on by Regem, but it looked like Hespo did survive, did have to blow the flash in order to do so, but that's the important thing. He did not drop a kill on the cross-map play.
Especially into Darius, the last thing you want to be doing is dropping an early kill because that just leads to an unstoppable snowball. Looking on now, Dragon is up and available. See, again, just trading in the mid lane. Ult popped from Fierce, traded back by Hunt, going very, very low. Fierce has to back away from this, has cover from Simpy, but in very, very, very close quarters.
Yeah, really, really tight fight there. You can see Hunt's stolen Moonfall was doing so much damage to Fierce, forcing Fierce to actually back off. He was the one that started it, but Herc in the top side.
Seeing a bit of a fight up here. The ultimate popped by Hespo. The ultimate has already been used by Raider. Flash forward to get the slow off. It doesn't quite do enough. The heal goes wide. Hespo will kill the first of the fight. Schofield will trade it back. And now it is a one-on-one against the jungler Scoot. No mana, but very speedy. Rock will tag, but it's not enough. Meanwhile, in the bot lane, there's another fight going on down there as Velocity going in onto Simpy. Will just be backed away from as the chunk is traded. And it's a 1-for-1 on the top side.
Yeah. So much fighting. There's actually a replay here. You can see how that fight broke out. Numbers advantage was the key one here. Aklas landing basically every Q, but what Lingard did here, playing with that passive, did so much damage, managing to trade 1 kill back, but unfortunately has to drop a skewed flash underneath the turret. Really well done by the Lilia to secure that kill. All the action happening across the map. I think I have to say, this is pretty good for the side of Regim. Their draft kind of thrives in the chaos, and whilst that topside play might put a dampener on it, I think, you know, trading back kills in the 2v2 bot side... actually, I'll stop my point because there's an engage.
There is an engage in the bot side. Once again, 3 members strong in the bot lane for Nord. Simpy's life will just be traded as Lindgard runs back to the tower. Should be donated across to Atlas. Swansea goes slightly wide. Mystic Shot goes slightly wide. Scood will have to secure it. But it's enough.
Yeah, it's enough. Bit of a goofy way to secure that one, but nonetheless, I mean, point is clear. Scood has his sights set on that bot side. I guess they're reading the fact that Simpy and Lindgard started playing this lane in an aggressive manner, and he's done that job of neutralizing that threat, of making sure he gets that bot lane through the laning phase. I'm sure he's holding tabs, seeing that mid lane and top lane are doing absolutely fine for now. So pay some attention to the bot side, and now over to the mid lane.
In the mid lane, as Hunt going aggressive onto Fierce. 3 members strong as well. Fierce having to back away. Swirl Seed will land. Not quite enough damage. Zenithal forwards onto Simpy under the tower. Will just be a trade of CC for now, as Fierce's life is saved as an ultimate! And it tags from Atlas from across the map. Sniped down in the mid lane.
Yeah, from downtown, the true shot barrage is going to find its mark right on between the eyes of Fierce. He did have to flash, but, I mean, no man in the world has the I mean, I'm not going to say that because that's definitely someone could have react flash to that. Yeah, didn't get the flash off. Really nice kill for Atlas. He's now 2 kills off the back of that snipe in the mid lane, and that CS deficit, not that bad of a situation because of those 2 kills.
As well as that extra assist as well. The model across the rest of the map, we can see just standard CSing, a bit of a CS lead in mid lane in favor of Nord, which offsets the bottom lane. We can see this dragon looking like the focus for Regim, as Grub's already gone across to Regim's side.
By the bot side, so I don't think any contest does come through. I'm actually surprised at how long this took to get the dragon, but understandably so. Scood has been paying a lot of attention to the bot side, so maybe Regim not feeling as confident to go for that, but I think, yeah, nice pickup.
Ooh, bit of a hook in the bot lane there, as we can see onto Velocity. Caught a little too far forwards, has to flash away, nearly thrown into a wall. There isn't anything else to follow forwards on, though. Just a bit of chip damage coming out from Atlas. A good bit of chip damage coming out from Atlas, in fact.
Yeah, A's are really strong. They're quite confused by Velocity's decision-making there. You know, you got massive notification and a dragon screaming in your ears to say that the enemy team has slain it. So, therefore, walking into the area where you know the entire enemy team is going to be there to try and kill you. But maybe a silly error, but yeah, has to play the flash. At least the flash was very good to get underneath the turret. Yeah, Atlas is just... I'm looking at CS number, and he's obviously behind in that front, but he's doing so much damage already. It's only going to get worse from this point onwards.
That it is. And now, we have a bit of a pause coming in. We'll be back into game very, very shortly. Yeah, it's standard. First day, there's always going to be some issues, ironing out some kinks as things go onwards. Let's take stock of items quickly, because I'm seeing double giant spelt for Schofield.
Double giant spelt. If anyone knows, the Heartsteel recipe has changed. It's got 2 giant spelts now. Yeah. A lot of items has. It's really weird. I remember on the first day of the new changes, I opened the shop. I see Berserker groups. You need 2 daggers to get it. I was like, this just looks weird, but it's just what it is right now. Yeah, Heartsteel needs 2 giant spelts. So, yeah, item changes, eh? That's crazy.
Yeah, it's nuts. But, we have first item coming in for both Scood and Lindgard. That Static Shiv and Leandri's completed respectively. See second set of grubs coming up, and Nord are posturing aggressively.
Yeah, and these grubs are really important because look at the side lane pressure of actually both compositions. I think grubs are going to be a priority for both sides, but I mean, speaking of priority, it's secured by Nord, and this could be a crazy fight happening.
Certainly could be. We can see Simpy stepping forwards, but 4 members strong for both teams. The AD carries on their way as we see Velocity going forwards onto Schofield. In goes Hunt with a stolen moonfall, gets some good damage down, but it's traded back by Fierce. The entirety of Nord are pulled together, but it does not matter, says Regim. They're able to take 1 back, but they've already lost 3. They take a 4th as Nord completely annihilate the opposition in the first big fight of the game.
And the lilting lullaby from Scood was what nailed that into the hands of Nord Esports. He was able to catch 3, and those 3 caught some Z's, and it was good night for them. That set up the play. If anyone saw, that was looking good for Regem at the start, because Atlas was the second AD carry to arrive. But in that scenario, that actually benefited him because of the lilting lullaby of Scood. As we get into a replay here, we can see exactly what happened. First grub taken already. Simply steps forward, and you can see on the mini-map, it's the Kaiser who has the killer instinct. She can be the one to arrive first. She pops it straight away. The true arrives, caught on set 3, and here's that lilting lullaby. 3 members of Regem just put to bed, and then the rest of Nord Esports can come in and clean up the rest of the fight. And it was a massive play on the top side. And like I said, like we said in the draft, the top side objective fights are going to be crucial for the outcome of this game, and already lead into the hands of Nord Esports.
Yeah, and it absolutely beautifully done, as we can see a stun in the bot lane into Impale onto the side of Scood. Good night, sweet dear. You have fallen once more into the deep slumber of a lullaby.
Yeah, we that was one of those things. You praise the guy, and then he just decides to go and do something like that. But hey, I mean, they are still in the lead. But I will say, against a composition like this, where spikes hit and they can start one-shotting you, mistakes like that can be crucial. So I think if you are Scood, you need to make sure we don't commit anything like that again, because, you know, I didn't see who the kill. I think the kill went over to the Kaiser, but that kill, you know, more kills go into the pocket of Diana. Doesn't matter how much CS she is behind, she is going to one-shot you. So definitely do need to be careful with the mistakes they make.
Certainly doing, especially with the Storm Surge completed now as well. This strong item on the patch. You can see Hespo just able to space Raider so effectively with this Blade of the Ruin King as well. Bit of delaying recalls in the mid lane, and this Dragon up in about a minute.
Yeah, goes back to that Darius. Goes back. God, Akash, that was mean. Goes back to that Darius call. I think we were both, you know, kind of head scratching ourselves when we saw that picked on 3. It's not really a champion you blind because of things like Vayne top, and see, although throughout the game not necessarily struggled, but it's like, this is Darius we're talking about. Going even isn't what Darius wants to do. That's not his win condition. He needs to get ahead. Unfortunately, because you're up against Vayne top lane, you're not ahead. So I'm struggling to see how this Darius is going to come online at some point in this game, because, I mean, Vayne scales as well. So that's another layer as to why this Darius is going to struggle.
Absolutely. As we can see, first items now coming in for most every player on the board, and the Herald secured by Nord. We can see this Dragon up. It is a Hextech Dragon, so I'm not going to be seeing the Lightning Soul.
Yeah, I think the Soul actually for both sides is really, really crucial, because I think on one side I'm seeing a Cloud Soul with a Darius, Diana, Kaiser composition goes absolutely crazy, and and so it's not going to be a Cloud Soul. And so I think what's really interesting is that a lot of the souls that people don't consider to be that good, such as Chemtech, is like really, really good in this game, because I'm seeing a Silas, a Darius, a Diana, champions that kind of almost like to be low HP to try and outplay your opponent. Chemtech Soul will be able to help you do that even better. So that might be a Soul, like, this is one of those rare occasions where I'm like, Chemtech Soul goes kind of hard here, because usually I don't rate that Soul at all. But I mean, we'll have to see what it ends up being.
Soul as well.
Yeah, Ocean Soul is crazy. I mean, we'll have to see what it ends up being at the end of this this Dragon. But I think the way objectives are being played out by Nord, maybe, you know, I know I mentioned, I don't mean to be that guy, but am I a genius or what?
Are you a prophet?
It is what it is. Get me on the team. No, I'm joking. No, I was saying how I think, you know, at the start of the game, I was talking about how a tournament like this is a great chance for some of the lower level teams to take it to the higher level teams. But you see the way Nord have played the macro, the objectives on the map, and even got that bot lane turret as well. I kind of think this is what separates the tiers of regional leagues and teams like Nord, who are in the NLC, is being able to snowball the map is clearly what, you know, they're being good at doing. I think it's Regem have done a decent job at matching it, but so far I like the objective player coming out from Nord.
Yeah, it has been very, very strong. It is worth mentioning, though, 4 Grubs did go across to Regen, and we did see that first tower fall on the top side to Raider. Of course, you do have that 1 Void Might. See 3 members strong in the bot side, 4 members strong in the bot side as well. Secures a second tower. Meanwhile, the only one missing in favor of Nord is that bot tier 1. Herald has been dropped in the mid lane, so going to try to match up, but we'll see if they can actually get anything off of it. Scoot going forwards, gets the knock up, gets into the tower, but is now way too far forward. That's a flash away from the depth charge. Gets pulled straight to the wall. Solarflare lands only onto 1, but there is the first ultimate of the fight to actually make a difference, as 2 members are already deleted in favor of Regem. A beautiful moonfall from Fierce allows for the Impale to not go unpunished.
That was so confusing from Scoot, and a player of his experience, I expect so much better. I think after that Grub fight, the last 2 mistakes has come from the jungler of Nord. Like, the biggest thing here is you want to play through your sides. You have a Silas and a Vayne kind of being able to push through the side lanes here. And I think Silas was pushed back to the tier 2. Vayne was kind of in the middle of the top lane. So no priority secured on either side lane. You make this Herald play with no one around, and obviously it gets punished. Beautiful Impale from Schofield to punish that. But yeah, really, really big mistake. And the gold lead, it is diminishing ever so slightly as time goes by. And more mistakes like this, it could be, you know, a throw of the game. We'll have to see.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see as time goes on. But for now, we're into a bit of a lull state. No objectives to be found. We can see Simpy potentially looking to fish on towards Atlas and Velocity. We'll see if anything does come of this. We can see 4 members strong towards this middle lane for Nord. Hunt just sitting in river does steal away that depth charge. You'll have to keep an eye on that in the coming fight. There's a lot of vision down. Defensive vision, no less, for the side of Nord. So Regem finding an angle to do something very difficult.
Yeah, it's really, really tough for Regen, but they do have decent map control. Just as I was saying, I like how Nord having playing the map, like seconds afterwards, Regen seemed to take full control over it. Yeah, maybe I am. I praise Scoot. He goes on to make 2 mistakes. I praise Nord's map play, and then they start losing the map.
Depth charge popped onto Simpy. Just going to flash away. Feels like Hunt was hunting a little too hard there.
No, do you know what's crazy? I was about to praise Regen, and they almost died. I'm not joking. I swear that just happened.
Okay, meanwhile, Velocity just going for a little bit of vision fighting, as we tend to see between support. Supportal combat is the term that we tend to use.
Yeah.
While we just clear waves away.
I mean, nothing happening out of that. I'm actually surprised that Regem's side laners have been able to get priority. I'm seeing Silas and Vayne more towards their side of the map, which is very interesting considering how I feel like they should have the advantage on the side. But yeah, I mean, dull state so far. I think this next dragon is going to be crucial to the outcome of the game. Right now, the gold lead, very, very tight. It's slightly leaning towards Nord for now. I'm assuming a lot of that is off farm lead from Scoot in the jungle. But this dragon fight is going to sway it definitely over to one side. So this is going to be a crucial one. Setup so far, I'm going to put my vote towards Regem. They are setting this up much, much better. Vayne on the other side of the map right now with no TP, and they're starting to meet each other in the mid lane.
That they are, and we've got a split map situation, not horizontally, but vertically. So we can see the entirety of Nord stuck towards this top side. I can see pings coming down onto the Baron, potentially trying to bait Regem forwards and just say, we're going to do this, you take the dragon, as Chemtech dragon has spawned. Fierce has gone down to clear that, and the other 4 members of Regem moving into topside river. They can get away with this because Diana, A, kills it extremely quickly, and B, does not need to be at the fight immediately with that TP available. Nord forced away from the objective, which means this dragon goes completely unpunished.
Yeah, dragon goes unpunished. You can see Nord were trying to make that cross-map play onto the Baron. It didn't seem like everyone was committed to it, so it's just going to be a dragon given over for free. I think it's only the second Drake over the game, so it's nothing to be hitting the alarm bells on, but very, very interesting. I was surprised that Nord didn't decide to take a more aggressive approach to contesting that one.
Yeah, absolutely. Expecting a full-on fight, but they seem to know they're not quite as strong as they could be at the moment. You can see a bit of an invade coming in now, 4 members strong with pressure in that top lane. You can kind of feel a bit more confident doing this to Scoot. Just going to steal away the Gromp and shift back into the mid lane.
Yep, and a very quiet spell in the game right now. I think these two teams, I mean, maybe it's the playstyle of the teams, but maybe it's the changes of the patch. Like you said, much slower style of gameplay right now in 14.19. Fights do take a lot longer. Killing someone is going to take a lot longer. Few weeks ago, that catch onto Simpy in the mid lane, he probably would have died. But new changes, new durability, and yeah, game pace much slower, but it's a more strategic approach. And like I said, Nord not utilizing their side lanes enough. I'm like the last few minutes or the last few seconds of the game, I'm seeing Vayne kind of group top a little bit too much. They put the Sylas up against the Darius, even though Vayne is a lot better as a matchup into the Darius. So maybe Nord just recalibrating how they play the macro of the map. Both AD carries right now contesting CS against each other whilst there's a top wave pushing in to Nord. So yeah, interesting choices across the map from Nord, and yeah, maybe they play the macro a bit better, because as you can see, Gold Lead has now gone from slightly towards Nord to straight up dead, even slightly pushing towards the favor of Regem.
Yeah, absolutely, and we can see they're a little apprehensive as to this Baron going on, but they're not really able to step out of their own jungle at present. The Zenith Blade from Velocity goes slightly wide onto Simpy, which honestly you're probably quite happy about. That was one of those skill shots you did not want to land. Top wave shoving in, bot wave shoving out for Nord makes it very hard for them to be able to make a play on either side of the map, because, I mean, the entirety of Regem are grouped in the mid lane. They're not really able to punish anything on sides, and Scoot being slowly but surely forced out of his own jungle in favor of getting some vision down for Regem around this Baron.
Yeah, and it's like, whilst no fights, oh my god, whilst no fights have broken out just yet, there is some high tensions because of how both teams are posturing. It looks like Nord have been spending a lot of efforts to try and break down this mid lane, and Regem just trying to defend it with all they can, but might lead up to a fight, and we'll have to wait and see here. But I don't think anything will happen. But yeah, finally, we can see Nord starting to push in these side lanes. You see that bottom side being pressured. You see that top side with Hespo pushing that wave in, meaning that the Darius can't hang around here too much longer. And you see what Hespo's doing here, pushing out side lane, moving back over to the mid lane to try and create some sort of overload in the numbers advantage. We'll see if that can convert into anything, because it hasn't necessarily so far. But I think I have to praise Regem's defensive play. They haven't given up. Oh my god, I just cursed them.
That you may have done, as we can see a bit of a fight breaking out. Velocity having to flash away. Still stunned into the wall, takes the depth charge to the face. There isn't much left to survive as Darius ult comes in for that 5th stack. The bleed ticks down, and Fierce has found Hespo on the backside, and the Vayne is annihilated from the game. Regem, 2 very quick kills, and a Baron is now in their sights, with Axlis and Scoot the only members left to try and take away. Meanwhile, Hunt in the bot lane trying to secure something. Gonna take the reset. This Baron going down to about 3,000 health, and Scooter step forwards. The Lilting Lullaby onto 2, but Raider is there, and Scooter has to flash away. Hunt is TP'd in, but it's too little, too late, and Impale tags onto him, and Lingard goes on a killing spree before an ult can even be used by Hunt.
Yeah, it looks like Nord were trying to fish for some sort of a pick in the jungle, but as we go back to the point, it's a durability patch. You're not going to one-shot people anymore, as Simpy was the one to face check, but was the one to survive, as the rest of Regem were in position. I was just praising their defensive play on their map, trying to defend and neutralize what Nord were doing offensively in their own jungle, and they were set up to do so. Beautiful TP from Fierce to get behind enemy lines to set up an even better play for them. They're able to get onto the Baron, and I think Scoot wanted to contest, but numbers advantage was too powerful, meaning that more people had to die, more casualties, and that gold lead now sits in the hands of Regem.
Certainly does, and a very strong one at that, as the Baron has, or the Dragon has spawned. That Baron has just died, Luna. The Dragon has now spawned up, and this would be sole point for the side of Regem. If they can grab this here, which Schofield is looking to do, with no contest, no less, they are putting themselves in a very good position for success.
Yeah, not contested at all, and once again, it's Regem on the front foot. That's 3 dragons now, sole point for them. Nord progressing here in the mid lane. Scoot pops the Lilting Lullaby.
Lilting Lullaby tagged onto as well. The Solar Flare onto Lingard, into the True Shot, into another Shield of Daybreak means Lingard goes down and quickly. And now Simpy is to follow. A beautiful catch from the side of Nord, headlined by Scoot, straight down the mid lane.
Yeah, oh gosh, another Costa Curse moment. I was praising Regim for how defensive they've been playing against an aggressive team composition, and then they step way too far forward after taking that dragon in the mid lane. They get caught by the bowling ball of Scoot, meaning he can hit too with the Lilting Lullaby, and it was just go forward for the rest of Nord. And they were able to catch to the bot lane of Regim had to fall, meaning no defense there available. Raider was stuck on the top side. Hesper was the first one to move. I don't know if he contributed too much to that little skirmish, but yeah, the rest of Nord were able to put in the work and finish off those kills. They got that mid lane turret, and yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm just cursing people, but this... I don't know who's winning this game. It's so back and forth. It's so closely contested, and it could go either way at this point.
Certainly could. No objective up for another few minutes at the very least, so we're just going to see contest of towers. It is 5 towers to 2. Regim, they were able to get the first couple of towers of the game, but they've not been able to push any further since.
Yeah, I think it's been a really, really solid game coming up from Regim, but the thing is, with the League of Legends right now, you commit a mistake at this point in the game, the enemy team can grab so many things on the map, but Nord maybe getting too far forward.
Certainly could be. Just going to be a disengage for now as Raider flashing forward. Only finds the Apprehend onto 1, but Velocity taking a lot of damage here. One more attack will give that full stacks, and that is the execute from Raider. And it's not even just an execute, it's a reset. As Fierce is going forwards onto Scoot, forcing the Zhonya's as Lingard takes Scoot out. And suddenly Regim have come alive with the fires of battle as everybody falls, and Hunt's the only one left standing in the bot side. 4 for Regim.
I am so impressed with how aggressive Regim was in that play, but Nord, I expect a team of this experience to just be like, let's just lose our Leona, everyone else get out. They've committed ults, they've committed flashes for this one kill on the support, but instead, everyone starts to throw the kitchen sink and everyone starts dying, and a massive mistake coming out from Nord, and this could be the end of the game. We'll get the replay here. You see Raider going so aggressive, and you pointed out, only the Apprehend onto the support. It's not lethal, but then what happens here? Stu tries to go and clear the wave up. This is a tier 1 turret. This isn't that important. You don't need to trade the whole game for this tower. Simply gets a beautiful dredge line onto a Vayne, and the rest of the team have to die. But I have to sit here and ask, did we really need to fight after our Leona got caught? The enemy team just committed a bunch of tools to kill 1 support. There was no need for the rest of the team to die.
No, it was absolutely beautiful punish by Regim, able to turn onto Scoot so effectively and make sure that that did not go unpunished. Now, objectives. There is an open inhibitor in the middle lane. Dragon should be up in the next couple of minutes, as should the Baron, and that is when things get scary, because you currently are sitting with a 3,000 gold lead in favor of Regim, and a Darius at level 16, whose ultimate is almost never going to be on cooldown if played correctly.
Yeah, well, Darius has scaled up. Look at that, 4-2. Raider has been a quiet passenger for the majority of this game, but he has come alive off that play. Simply going for a hook in the mid lane.
Durability patch, happy to do it, isn't gonna die.
Yeah. I mean, he kind of just one-man hooked into 3 people. I think Nord was so confused by it that they didn't really throw anything on him, because they were like, oh, someone's here, but no one was there. Fair enough. Simply maybe playing some mind games there, really nice. But he's been doing that all throughout in the entirety of this game. Kind of playing aggressively, mind controlling Nord into thinking that something is going to happen without anything really happening, whilst also not dying himself, but Nord positioning aggressively.
Lingard is being lethal with these Void Seekers. They're landing left, right, and center as Hunt finds the Impale onto Schofield. But Velocity has gone way too deep. The Impale is traded back onto Hunt. The Zhonya's has to be popped. Meanwhile, on the backside, Simpy is taking up so much resource. Schofield able to get up with his life. And Fierce is on a flank. 3 members of Regim running for their lives as the first one falls. Simpy caught down by Atlas. As Fierce now has to run for the hills. Has figured out that they are on their own. As in goes Lingard onto Atlas. The Void Seeker from downtown is absolutely beautiful. Able to get away for now as the Swatty comes in, and there goes Fierce, tagged onto 2, but it's not quite enough as 2 more fall. Never mind, Raider is there on a rampage as well, and what looked so good for Nord ends in disaster once again.
It was so good for Nord, but then you see Fierce slowly appearing right behind the entirety of Nord, and I can tell you so many mid laners that would rush that play, but Fierce, he held his ground. He didn't blow his load. He waited. He bought some time, because you can see Nord, they saw that Diana. They started panicking. They're like, oh my god, he's going to go in. But Fierce didn't blow his load too early. He let Lingard assassinate Aklas with that W and the ultimate as well, and what that did was it created chaos. And what does their composition do? It thrives in the chaos. It opened now that space for Fierce to then jump in with his combo and finish off multiple targets. And the health bars were blinking from Regem, but that's how well they played that team fight. It was a 4 versus 5 at the start, and it ended up in favor of Regem winning that one. They're going to get that team fight win. They're going to get the Baron. And I'm looking at them and saying, what a game so far. What a well-executed team fight. And really big hats off to them. Simply might have to die, though.
Might indeed. Solarflare goes down. Depth charge is traded.
Chilling.
Lingard is
He's
still
chilling.
in the area. Is absolutely fine. And that is a Chemtech Soul, a Baron Nashor, and a teamfight win for Regem. Absolutely like bounce housing their lead to a 5,000 gold lead. Let's take a look at just what happens in that fight.
Yeah, replay here, it's fantastic because you can see Fierce on the bottom side. I like what Nord are doing, trying to get into this and hit the fight, but Velocity misses out on that solar flare. Of course, no key targets there. Nord Hunt only catching one on the Impale and gets impaled himself right into the hands of the entire enemy team. And like here, the Scarlet having to leave. Oh, heading back to live. I'm assuming something's... Oh, someone's dead.
We are seeing a bit of a push as Scoot has fallen. Scoot has died once again. Hunt is on a good flank here. 4 members strong on the top side as this Nifter goes down. Fist is moving in now. One good angle is all it takes as Hunt is there. Can seal away whatever ultimate he so pleases. The depth charge. What has been opted to take away. The waves coming in. 2 inhibitors are down. 3 members strong trying to clear waves. It's double AD carry, but none of them wave clear carries as the solar flare tags onto Raider. Velocity going in, caught up by so much CC and being absolutely torn through his Atlas. Is only 1 shot on the backside by Fierce. Hunt is now on their own, executed by Raider. It's a double kill as Fierce takes the 3rd. And Regem, they see Division 1 and they say no more as they stand up and take game number 1.
Yeah, the Aurora Cup, it's literally built for games like this. Upsets are made to happen in a tournament like this, and that was the result. I have to say, Regem really impressed me with their gameplay, but I do have to admit, I think after that grub play, Nord was in control in this game, and a few too many individual errors coming out from the players of Nord was what swung this game over to the side of Regem, but... You know, honestly, big, massive praises to Regem with the way they played this. I think Lingard on the Kaiser was really calculated as well. But, I mean, I don't know who you've got for MVP, but Simpy, he was... Okay, so I can't remember who it was. I think it was Missing on Rakan, who just, like, was so annoying, but you couldn't kill him. But obviously, Rakan's got mobility. Nautilus doesn't. Yet Simpy looks like that kind of Rakan. He's just being annoying in front of them, not dying, causing so much chaos and... My MVP for the game, honestly.
I think mine does have to go to Lingard. Those Void Seekers, absolutely lethal. Found so many pixel-perfect angles in so many fights. Regem, they've come in with a statement win. They've come in and taken down Nord. Now, it's not unprecedented. It's not unprecedented. And we've said our MVPs. But let us know. Who is your MVP? Let us know in the chat. We go into... what is a very interesting game, or come off what is a very interesting game number 1. Now, just before we head to a break, I would like to remind that we are thrilled to be able to partner up with Verdant for their Ecology initiative, or Ecology initiative. Wow, that took my brain too long to put 2 and 2 together. As mentioned at the start of the stream, we are matching donations 1-to-1 up to €1,000 with a minimum of €500 donation. So if you can, please go and support that as well. Now, I'm not sure about you, Savonix, but I'm even more hyped for game number 2. There is going to be a small break before then, but when we come back, we will have Ruddy Esports against Int Esports for you. Another Division 1 versus Regional bash.
Hey, yo, 6-0.
Lodestar Esports now coming over to this bear, and the volley bear seems to be first to be going in with the ultimate. Sejuani ultimate missing the backline completely. MF ult coming down, taking down only the volley bear with the Vi ult in the backline on the ADCs. The jungler's gonna go down. Be a triple kill for the way, maybe even going for a quadra.
Welcome back, everybody, and we are here ahead of game number 2 for you, Ready Esports versus Int Esports. We just come off the back of a banger game number 1, and your MVP vote has come in for that game. I do believe people agreed with me. Lindgaard walking away with that one. Very, very stellar performance on that Kai'Sa. Now, looking ahead towards game number 2, this is another Titan versus regional matchup, but not just any Titan. This is Ruddy Esports EU Masters or EMEA Masters attendees. Ruddy Esports. Let's take a look at the rosters for Ruddy. We've got Built, Malice, Rako, Nata, and Alaric. Whereas for Int, some of you who have been around for a while may not recognize a lot of these names in Cobbin, Nord, Forsland, Omni, and Nodu. Savonix, can you run us through some of these players?
Yeah, I mean, immediately, Ruddy Esports, everyone knows Malice played in the LCK, part of C9 as well. Rako, for those who don't know, does have EMEA Masters experience as well. Previously, one of those standout mid laners, part of the Benelux League back in the day. Now, recently come off a split coaching in FlyQuest in the NA scene, of course, and all these players have EMEA Masters experience. Nata, a very well-known player, has a lot of NLC experience built. He's built as an Estonian machine, and Alaric as well. So much to say about these players. On the other side, Cobbin, Nord, Forsland, Omni, Nodu, all these players literally are top-tier ERL players. There's no argument about it. This is as good you're going to get at this level. And I think, you know, he plays like Malice. He's played LCK, right? You know, you're even, you know, borderline above that level. And these two organizations as well, quite well known. Ruddy, you know, I mean, everyone knows their content all over social media and how they've grown to be an ERL organization with a high level of pedigree. Int Esports right now doing bits over in the SOL. So I think both these teams are really exciting to watch coming into this tournament. I was actually looking at both these rosters as standouts for me, and I'm excited to see them play.
Yeah, absolutely. And on the subject of Int, this team dominate SOL for a while, as you have said. But all of these players have had stints at higher levels. Cobbin, Nodu, and Nord all been in NLC Division 2, all at the same time, might I add. Last year's summer, Nord was on Munster Rugby Gaming alongside myself, and Cobbin and Nodu were on Carolyn Nerna. Omni, not 100% familiar with this player, but I mean, going based on what I'm seeing, I'm liking what I'm seeing. And Forsland did have a stint in NLC Division 1, I believe. I don't remember which team it was for, but has played at the highest level there is to deliver. Now, Ruddy are known for being quite a good team. And this roster definitely stands up to that, right? Are we going to see another upset for today, or is this something that Ruddy just have in the bag?
So, the thing about Ruddy is, whilst their names definitely do stand out, one thing I saw last game was that individual skill gets you so far in the game. It is team play that really pulls through. And in esports, you know, I actually do know quite a lot about these players. I know Omni, for example, had a stint at Fritfall in the SOL as well. And so these guys have experience. They have experience with each other. I saw their accounts on EU West. They all put INT at the start. That's always, you know, the whole band of brothers kind of vibes when you do that. So I think whilst the names on Roddy Esports, they definitely do stand out. I'm looking at Int Esports. If they are going to have an advantage, it's going to be in the fact that they have better team play. They've been together for a long time. Again, as jokingly as it sounds, matching IGNs on the server is a pretty big, statement to say of like we're all committed to this together. So, I mean, I'm kind of split because on one side, there's a lot of reputation, right? There's a guy who's literally played LCK, who's literally played against T1 and all that. I don't think he won, but still, he's got experience, right? Whereas on the other side, it's a group, it's a unit, it's a band of 5. So I'm gonna throw it over to you and let you predict this one.
Unbiased,
Yep.
I think Ruddy, from what we saw last split, are a very good team at playing mechanics. I'm worried that if they come up into a position where, because they don't have the same roster they did in summer split, they get into a position where communication is king, they're going to struggle. Int have been together for a long time. These players have been friends for years, in fact. And I think that alone is going to allow them to pull forwards. And having seen these players firsthand as well, I do think that when it matters, they can clutch up. They can band together as a group and they can really start to pull away with things. So I'm not going to predict the underdog story. I'm not going to predict the upset, but I do believe it to be important. Now, let's get ready and head on into draft for this game. It's going to be a banger. It's going to be interesting. It's going to allow us so much information of these two teams. And we'll see just where their priorities lie. I do believe Ruddy is on the blue side and Int are on the red side. We just draft very, very shortly. I'm receiving word from production that going to be a little bit delayed. We will get there very, very soon.
Yeah, and on the draft note, the interesting thing is like I think Int Esports, their players would have a good read on the meta, and I think they will understand how to play this meta in the best way possible. But again, goes back to the whole conversation of Roddy's experience, right? They literally have their mid laner is literally a coach in the NALCS scene. So I mean, I'm assuming he's got a really, really good understanding of how to draft. Of course, it's different to draft as a player than as a coach, so there is that. But I mean, as we know, Roddy, they have a roster in the UKL. I've seen them in the NLC as well. They like to draft very explosive team compositions. I don't expect that to change at all. Especially recently in the UKL, I've seen their draft and go like, this is just not very good. But then, I don't know, 12 minutes into the game, they've picked like 7 billion team fights and they're somehow ahead. So that's Roddy. I think regardless of what roster they have, this just does seem to be in their DNA. This is their culture. So I wouldn't be surprised to see anything similar to that.
Tis worth mentioning, Nodu not playing for Int today. It is their sub Ball coming in to that role. So we take a look at the bans. Skarner Yone taken away by Ruddy. Udyr taken away by Int. Again, some of the strongest champions on the patch.
Yeah, it's good to see the Skarner taken out. However, they are on blue side, so I was a bit surprised at that. Maybe none of them do play Skarner. I know Malice does favor AP junglers, or at least on stream he does. I'm not too sure.
So does Nord.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. So maybe both these teams are just contesting the AP junglers. I can see in removing that Udyr, maybe understanding that because of the AP jungle contest, you want to take away the strongest, in my opinion at least, the strongest jungler on the patch, which is the Udyr. Elise taken out as well. And yeah, what you said is true.
There's just 6 jungle bans.
Yeah, six jungle bans. 5 of them are AP damage dealers as well. So you can see...
No, sorry, it's not 6 jungle bans. It's 5 jungle bans.
Five jungle bans. I mean, Yone is basically every champion in the game. So, yeah, we do see the Ashe B1. I think this is absolutely fine. Doesn't give too much away about your team composition. And it's just overall a very, very solid AD carry pick.
And Nata's just very good at it.
Yeah, he's incredible at Ashe. I think Nata's, from the clips I've seen, his strength is in spacing. His spacing is incredible. It's like he's scripting almost. So yeah, given the Ash as a champion that likes to hit and move, but on the other side, a similar champion, a hit and move champion. I do think Ash has a lot more setup than the Jinx does, obviously. But if Jinx can get through the early game, then can be a very lethal tool in the later parts of the game, as we see. And Alistar hover into the Rel. I was thinking
Standard counter
yeah,
matchup.
standard. I mean, it was either going to be Alistar or Poppy. I think those are the two champions you pick into the role. It's going to be the choice of the Alistar for Alaric and Renekton hover. Looks like a B3 top lane is very common so far.
Yes. Second game in a row. It is just a Hover Knight is going to get locked in.
It's a bit better than Darius
better than
Blind.
Blue 3 Darius, yeah.
Yeah, that's you're not wrong. You're not wrong. I'll give you that. I'll give you that. You're right. But obviously, again, a lot of counters open. I think the interesting thing about, I guess, Blue 3 Renekton is that, I mean, it's a solid blind. Maybe you want to save your jungle pick for later on, which is understandable. It gives more options in terms of rounding up a team composition. If you leave your jungle pick to later, of course, their jungler is Malice as well. So I'm assuming he is a key part of this roster as a carry. So understandably so, you let him pick later. I completely get it. But the Renekton early on, Maokai, it's not counterpicked, actually. It's going to be the jungle lock-in.
It could be top lane.
Yeah, but you're not counterpicking Renekton with Maokai.
Who knows? Maybe it's hidden OP. Maybe it's the most broken counter matchup known to man. Nord does play this champion though, so it likely is going in towards that jungle.
Yeah.
The Syndra and the Cassante taken away respectively.
Yes, intro really broken. Orianna still open to be locked in. I know Rako has a lot of Orianna games under his belt throughout his competitive career. So, okay, well, never mind. That's gone.
Goes the Syndra.
So interestingly enough, with those two champions gone, because I'm looking at Roddy's draft here, I'm like, Syndra Orianna just makes this draft completely broken, but now those two champions are banned. It's going to be interesting to see what they opt into, of course. Now we head over to Int Esports to see what they pick. I'm assuming you just give counter pick over to top lane here to make sure you neutralize that Renekton, and Gnar, a very good champion to do so.
Absolutely is. The double bans coming in onto Aatrox is a decision. The double bans coming into on Cassante suggests that you were expecting them to go for a tank when they've already got double tank lined up. The Aatrox lock-in is a very, very brave pick.
Yeah, I mean, I might be wrong, but according to the top laners that I know, Renekton is actually a nice champion into the Aatrox. I think people actually do like that, so I'm surprised. Maybe this is just a comfort pick. You are up against Built, who is, again, I will emphasize, he is a bit of a beast in the top lane. So maybe you just take a comfort pick, maybe try your best to see if you can how you handle your matchup. But yeah, not what I would have picked. The Gnar hover straight away, I was like, that's fantastic. But then switching over to the Aatrox, bit of a head scratcher. And Azir locked in. Ooh, a very, very slow scaling champion paired with a very early game top side. I'm not sure how I like that one. This could get countered with the Xerath. I'm not gonna lie, Xerath goes hard in that draft. Oh no.
This is problematic for one big reason. They have no bridge.
Yeah, they don't. Yeah, I was literally about to say the reason I don't like this Aurelion Sol pick here is that what do you have to get to the late game? These two carries on the side of Int Esports, they rely on ensuring that they get to the late game. But right now, I'm like, what means do they have to get that? If Roddy side with a Jarvan Ashe Alistar up against even Azir, up against Asol Jinx Maokai, like they just don't have the damage to match up to what Roddy Esports want to do.
No, not at all. Be interesting to see how Int play this out. I don't doubt this is well thought out. Of course, this is a team that's been together for quite a long time. Looking across, I think Ruddy do have the edge in draft here.
Yeah. I just think, I mean, first off the bat, the changes to Azir has made him a lot weaker in the laning phase, but I mean, we all know Aurelion Sol's not exactly a lane bully. I saw that Silas hover, and actually twice. I saw the hover of the Gnar into the Renekton, I like that, but then they changed it to the Aatrox, then I saw the Silas into the Azir, I like that. Look how many Silas ults there are to take. You have Ashe ulti, Alistar, Azir ult, even the Renekton ult's good for the Silas. Silas would have been incredible in this game, but then they switched that to the Aurelion Sol, which is like, you know, the changes made to Azir to push him out of the meta was so that, like, his laning phase is weaker, his matchups are worse, but then you pick a matchup where it's just two champions scaling, so you're not punishing that Azir for that lack of early game now, and yeah, very curious to see the choices made by Int, but as I said, as what you said, I trust that this is a well planned out draft.
Yeah, but there are three things that Ruddy have going for them. And again, it's what we talked about in game one, right? Ease of execution, multiple win conditions, strength to play through.
Yeah.
You've got so many different options as to what you can do in this draft. You're very flexible as to where you play through, and you've got good champions at every stage of the game. Renekton very good in the early stages, Ashe very good in the mid game, Azir very good in the late game, whereas for Int, as you were saying, you've got two very good late game carries. You've got one decent mid game carry, but your early game is looking really, really rough. So we'll have to see how that goes. And we will be on the Rift very, very shortly with this game. So I'm curious, let us know in chat who you think is going to win based on this draft. Let us know your thoughts on this situation. See if you can see something that we don't. Once again, I will just mention the partnership with Verdant for the ecology.
Hey, he got it.
I got it right. I got it right for once. The Ecology Initiative will be matching donations 1-to-1 up to €1,000 with a minimum donation of 500. So if you can support, please do go ahead. And that segues us quite nicely into the ecology of Summoner's Rift.
Ooh, beautiful. Really, really nice throwaway. Yeah, I mean, we're on to the Rift. Again, I go back to the point here on the bottom side of the map. It's very, very slow paced. I don't imagine any of these teams will be looking to rush each other in the fights. We'll say there's so much set up for the Jarvan to make plays, and I'm really, really excited to watch Malice play. It's actually quite it's quite an honor to cast players like Malice, players like Rako, Nata, all these names on my screen as they go for an early invade, but I don't think anything will happen.
Omni, good positioning to allow for a bit of information on what's going on in this bot side. Now shifting up towards the rest of the team. See if we've got any interesting rune choices coming in. Looks to be pretty standard across the board. Double cleanse in that bot lane as well. So really, really paying respect to the CC around them.
Yeah, I think I go back again to my point is if there is going to be action breaking out in the early game, it will be towards the top side of the map. I think Renekton, Jarvan, very lethal top jungle. Just to see what the plan is behind the Aatrox Maokai, because I mean I'm essentially looking at the bottom side of the map. I don't imagine anything crazy will be happening. I think the Alistar was picked into the Rel as a neutralizer to stop that Rel from going aggressive on the engagers, and so I'm imagining a lot of the focus from both teams will be around the top side.
Of course, you do have the innate pressure that an Ashe generates. So we're seeing that here. Just able to step forwards and force the Int bot lane off of their wave. Really allows for small leads to be accrued individually. So we can see junglers matching, pathing, Nord skipping over those Krugs in the early game. Forceland just using that level lead to his advantage. See Alaric able to get the knock up from the Pulverize, but the level 2 it's hit too late for a headbutt.
Yeah, well, I mean, a lot of priority on the bottom side for the side of Ruddy, meaning that, yes, both junglers are matching each other on the clear. You can see Nord skip that Krug camp, so he's a bit faster on the tempo, will be behind on the resources incoming into him. So there is that, but of course, Maokai, not necessarily the highest resource jungler, just as long as you have 3 spells, you can make any play happen. And I'm curious to see if anything will break out. You can see that bot lane priority secured by Ruddy, meaning that they will get access into that tri-bush, putting down any vision to spot out where Nord is going to go, what is his game plan. Getting information on your opposition jungler at this point of the game is so crucial to play out every single phase of it moving forwards. And so, you know, that information onto where Nord is going to go. This crab could be contested, but I'm looking at the pace of the clear. with Nord skipping that Krug camp on the top side, it means he will get into this river first. As I see, he's actually going on the opposite side. Yeah, I think he's seen that his bot lane just has no way to get priority on that lane, and so he's moving over to the top side. But Malice might be looking for something aggressive.
Certainly could be. There's the flag and drag onto Ball, able to use the crash down to get to safety. That Rel, very difficult to interrupt. So we're going to have a bit of a pause come through. Hopefully this won't take too long. As soon as we have more information, we will let you know. But, I mean, already, like, aggressive towards this bot side. This is not what we were expecting.
No, not what we were expecting. And you see what our criticisms of this in esports draft is, like, you see that Maokai pathing towards bot side, clearly with the intent of playing for something on the bottom side. But you've got a composition where your mid lane's Asol, your AD carry's Jinx, your support is Rel into Alistar, so you can't really do anything, forcing Nord to just ditched his initial play and go back to the top side of the map. And that's kind of where the struggle is going to be for in esports is you have a Maokai. He wants to look for these early plays, maybe get some kills for his laners, but what can you do? Your laners are scalers. They want to just hit minions for the next 20 minutes probably. So it's going to be really difficult to, kind of materialize any plays across the map that you want to make. So yeah, tough one already. I'd say Roddy Esports benefiting off this one because Jarvan got the full clear plus priority on the crab. Whereas, yeah, Nord, you see that Krug camp still up, and so he's a little bit behind. Not by much, it's only one camp, but could grow into something even worse.
Certainly could. Malice now behind the enemy bot lane. Could be looking for a dive here. Cobbin and Built just going at each other in the top side. There's trading in the mid lane as Cobbin. One more auto should take him down. This is a very close trade. Built very low as well, tanking up a wave. Malice forced away in the bot sides. We're seeing a lot of action all across. Now.
Yep, a lot of action, but no casualties kind of blown here. Seeing the top side, Cobbin does have level advantage. Built being brought down to a very low amount of HP, and wasn't Cobbin to be able to play out this matchup. We were kind of, questioning if this is the best pick, and I mean, looking at those health bars, those guys are playing with fire, so that could be a first blood at any point in any few seconds. Wave crashing in top. I think Cobbin would just back off for now, but yeah, so far, I mean, initially, first thing that catches my eye is that CS deficit on the bottom side of that map. Nata is so far ahead of this Jinx, and it's not out of anything but just laning. They just picked a better bot lane. Ball can't do anything against the Alistar. Like, realistically, what are you going to do? There's an Alistar ready to headbutt. And the interesting thing is where Rel gets these advantages is if the Alistar is trigger happy and just randomly combos for absolutely no reason, then the Rel can look for any engages because you know that headbutt is down. But he's been so patient with that headbutt, you knowing that he's going to need it to protect Nata from any incoming engages, and it's making it difficult for this in esports bot lane to find anything.
Certainly is. Now, there's a poll on who won draft in chat, so let us know. Meanwhile, Omni being aggressed onto the flash away from Nata is beautiful. The cleanse is too early. And first blood goes across to Nata. Meanwhile, Ball run for the hills. One more auto will do it. Will tick down to the igniters. Alaric happy to take that one into his own back pocket.
Yeah, not only do you blow all your summoner spells, you also drop 2 kills over to the opposition. And the first kill was just a straight up 2v2, and then Malice came in to follow up with a flag and drag right onto the head of Ball, meaning that second kill was secured for the side of Roddy Esports. And it goes back to the question, there's no bridge, there's no way to get out of the laning phase because all you've done is picked scaling. Not even like any way to help your scaling. And it's really difficult already. You can see Malice has a clear game plan. Head over to that bot side, create pressure, and already 6 minutes into the game, it is working very, very well.
Certainly is. Now we can see Nord starting up this dragon is on vision. The int bot lane able to be the ones with first move, but same can be said for Rako. For Ruddy. This dragon, it is just peeled away from. Grub's up as well, and with the amount of pressure Cobbin is generating in this top lane, we could see something happen there. Meanwhile, Built jumping forwards, the slice and dice deeper away from the tower shows confidence up in the face of adversity.
Yep.
It's gonna be a bit of trading for now.
And what Built is doing here is knowing that Cobbin used his teleport earlier on to get back into the lane. So he can actually just psychopath trade.
Which Dominus popped going forwards onto Cobbin. The world end Desmond popped as well. The healing is good. Infernal Chains aren't going to pull back, but Nord is here. Cobbin running away. There is the Nature's Grasp. It tags onto Built. Bramble Smash going to slow for now. One more will do it. Cobbin takes that kill. Meanwhile, Alaric finds a double pulverize in the bot side, and Malice having to run away in the top side. It's just taking away. Forceland going super aggressive. Nata stepping up very aggressively as well, getting so much damage down onto the bot lane duo. And the Grubs may just be in the sights of Int. Never mind. They're running away from it as they will just take the kill onto Built.
Yeah, I'm assuming they took 2 left, 1 just to delay the respawn timer. You got 2 Grubs already. You're happy with that. Bot side need to be careful here. Rako is making a move. I think they're going to call this one off. But yeah, my point there in the top side was Built can go for an aggressive trade. Whatever way it goes, he can just TP back in and have a health and have a health advantage. But I didn't expect that straight up all in, and it worked against him. He was actually winning that 1v1 initially, but he had no idea that Nord was on those Grubs. The notification only pops up when you kill all 3 of the Grubs, and so he had no clue where Nord was. Great Nature's Grasp immediately to just catch Built off guard, and he had to drop. They even had Forceland moving up just as an insurance policy, but it was not needed in the end. So nice kill on the side of Cobbin. It's going to help him get through a troublesome laning phase. I'm seeing Built having won a few of the trades. It's been kind of back and forth so far, but yeah, the top side for Int Esports might be their bridge into the late game.
Certainly could be. Aatrox definitely no slouch as you get it into the late stages, but a very specific win condition. We can see Malice on this dragon now. With the pressure in mid and bot, you can get away with this pretty much scot-free. Nord is on this bot side. Those Krugs still up and available. Still not been taken on the side of Int.
Yeah. I'm honestly not too sure about that, because it's usually when you do that, it's more of like making sure that the enemy team don't get Grubs, but you know, you see how Malice is pressuring bot side. I think it's not too bad to go for any topside plays, but Nord reading this really well.
It certainly is. Nature's Grasp coming in, tags onto Malice. Not to get over the wall, but it tags onto Alaric as well. There is the Twisted Advance. Looking forwards, Forceland on the way down. If we can keep this fight going, Int could come away with money. But instead, Ruddy going to be able to disengage it quite effectively. Cobbin shifting down in towards this mid lane after having shoved that top wave. So now there's a play looking onto Rako. Damage coming in is huge. A good flash Emperor's Divide to keep himself alive, but it doesn't matter because the sky is falling and there's a comet on your head as Cobbin picks up a second.
I'm assuming he didn't have spells because he kind of just walked away without casting anything. Really, really interesting run of events there. It was really nice read from Nord to know that Malice was going for the die. Great discipline from the side of Roddy, though, to call that off initially. And I was looking at the map, I was like, Forceland is losing so much off of this, but Cobbin with a really smart maneuver over to the mid lane wave to try and punish that Azir. I started seeing that and I was like, there's no way Azir dies here, but maybe he just used a Q to push a wave or something, because it just didn't seem like he had the tools to get himself out of there. I mean, even still, you can just do the WE. Maybe I was really confusing the way Rako played that. I was assuming he was going to use any spell to try and escape. It seemed like he just thought he could just walk away, but unfortunately, the damage came through. And well, it's another kill for Cobbin. Maybe eyes on him to see if he can be the carry for Int Esports.
Certainly, 2-0 already. Very strong position. Second grub has been taken by Int. Third one just been left in the pit. You know, neither team's going to be allowed 6 grubs this game. Why? Because we don't want you to.
Yeah, 6 grubs are overrated, honestly.
Right?
What do they do, honestly?
Yeah,
just pick Malzahar. No, I'm joking. Nah, I mean, yeah, I mean, to be honest, I'm taking a look at both composition. Yeah, true, Belveth. Well, I mean, if you are Belveth, you want grubs and your little creatures, don't you?
True.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you're both teams here, it's essentially both compositions are front to back 5v5 comps, so grubs don't necessarily massively benefit one or the other. I would say, based off experience, you win a late game team fight, you have 6 grubs, you kind of just end the game. So, you know, missing out on that opportunity is pretty big. But I mean, we'll see who benefits off that one more. I think Int did manage to get 2 grubs. I'm assuming they did 2 grubs and then left the pit.
They did 1 left, 1 left.
Oh.
So there's about 5 minutes between the both of them being taken.
Very interesting. Okay. So, I mean, they at least have some more pushing power. Not the most, but yeah, you can see, I think in esports have started to read what Malice is trying to do on the bottom side. He initially got that bot lane play off early on into the game, but ever since then, in esports have been on the defense. And we talk about lack of a bridge. Maybe one bridge is just to play defensively, not give up too much, because they've done a decent job at doing that. Gold lead is only 600 gold. And right at this point in the game, with their team composition, it's a really, really good look. And if they can keep this up, they're on a really good track to get themselves into the late game.
Yeah, certainly are looking at game. So finding me on the top side. Built, caught again by Nord. It's a killing spree for Carbon.
Yeah, really, really nice play. And it looks like they're targeting the top side. And, well, I mean, guys, this is why you don't pick top lane way too early. It becomes an exposure point for the opposition in esports. They know their bot side is playing weak side right now, so they're just punishing Built on their Renekton, who's trying to get ahead. But Malice here, maybe for a dive.
Certainly could be. Second plate goes down. The slows come in with the shattering strike missing. Good traps to make sure Malice can't go forwards with that flag and drag. The Int bot lane playing this to perfection to keep themselves alive.
Yeah, you know, Jinx traps often the metric for how good a player really is on that champion. And right there, really, really nice traps. You could see the approach from Alaric and Malice. It was one of patience. And what Omni did, put that traps in front of himself, meaning that Malice and Alaric just immediately saw that and was like, yeah, if we go in, we're just going to get stopped. We're going to tank a billion tower damage and probably die. So we're just going to back off here. And again, goes back to that point in esports bot lane. They are behind, but being behind this much isn't that bad considering the scaling you have. And they're playing so well as a neutralizer, but in mid lane, Forceland is dead.
Forceland has been caught onto, but Alaric picks up the kill, so it's really not the end of the world. Dragon has spawned, and Ruddy will have first move into that with Forceland being dead. But this is only the second Dragon of the game. Never mind, Ball is here. Shattering Strike will keep Alaric stunned up. Able to go over the wall with the crash down. The arrow goes wide. Flag and Drag will tag.
Wait,
and there's the Cataclysm from Malice. Nord having to flash away.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't necessarily see what happened there. It did seem like Forceland a bit too aggressive on the lane. I'm seeing Rako's ult is on cooldown, so I'm assuming some aspect of a Shurima shuffle came in to punish that Aurelion Soul. No flash was blown on Forceland. Maybe he accepted his death, but then Ball, you know, there's no one around. Your mid laner just died. I don't think entering the fray there was the call, meaning he has to give his life. I think the one thing in esports are happy with is that look at where all the gold is. It's on the Alistar. No offense, that kill on the ASOL was literally a last hit. There were two people around you that were ready to claim the kill, and he just last hits him with 1 HP. So, a bit suspicious, but yeah, in esports, all the gold is on the Alistar. I think they're absolutely chilling with that, and yeah, they're still playing well. They're still scaling. The gold lead isn't massive. Again, emphasizing a lot of that gold is on the cow, so you're chilling. And really, really nice game. Unfortunately, you have to give up the dragon. If you are in esports, you're probably looking at that particular objective, and that is going to be your timer throughout the rest of this game.
Certainly is going to be very difficult to have to give away soul point, especially since it is an infernal soul into Ashe and Azia. On the flip side, it's an infernal soul into ASOL and Jinx. So a lot going for you. You can see most, if not all, summoners available for all the important carries, as well as the Skies Descend ready for Forceland. So if we see a big fight in the near future, we have to keep our eyes on the big abilities of the big summoners.
Really, really important, but a very, very slow game. If you compare this one to the previous one, you can see no precautions are being broken. Everyone is playing with safety. Everyone's playing with calculations. A lot of the attempted bot lane dives by Malice have been called up because he's seeing the angle of risk, the level of, oh my god, Arrow in the mid lane.
Arrow across the map onto Forceland. There's not a lot of damage, and there's two members strong, in fact, as Nord drops the Nature's Grasp, doesn't quite tag onto Raka, but Forceland is able to escape with his life off the back of it. A good arrow from Nata, and even better cover from Int.
Yeah, goddamn, what an arrow. Enchanted Crystal arrow all the way from the bottom side of the map, hitting Forceland as he was trying to get some Stardust stacks. But this means is bot lane control, because they moved over Nord and Ball to make sure that Forceman doesn't die, which means, look, Ruddy, they've already got the turret, and they're even going to be able to steal a Grump away. So control on the bottom side was made because of Ball and Nord having to move over to the mid lane to protect Forsland from dying.
Yeah, but small wins. You're losing little by little. It's a 2,000 gold lead, but you are scaling, and you do scale very, very well. You're keeping your scalers safe. This A-Sol close to that second item already. Forsland very happy with the situation that he's finding himself in. Nord already on that Leandries as well. So see where this goes from here on out, as Coben still just kind of happily sitting in this matchup against Built.
Yeah, Coben is so far ahead right now. He's even on CS, but 3 kills up, and he's going to be the big focus. I'm taking a look at Ruddy's composition, right? And I am kind of struggling to see how any of these champions, before they hit their power spikes, deals with this Aatrox. And you can see here, if Coben is there, Ruddy needs to be careful. There's a Herald charge in the mid lane.
Alaric jumped onto by Coben.
Look at Ball.
Being forced away. Malice being caught onto by Nord. Able to get the Cataclysm to get away, but it doesn't matter because Forsland is running forward, and the rocket will cause the end of Malice. There's no Malice left in his body. He's Coben trying to get everything done that he can, but it's not quite enough. He's living for so long as the skies descend and hit all 4 members. Ball able to find 2 on the Magnet Storm, an Int. They've got 3, and a 4th is on the cards. What looked like an amazing situation to be found in for Ruddy earlier has flip-flopped straight back in favor of the SOL Titans with a clean ace at sub 20 minutes.
A clean ace, and I have to compliment Ball. He wrapped around behind that dying turret. Malice stuck around to try and defend it, and it looked like Ruddy were all over the shop there. And there was a beautiful read by Ball to know that Malice is trying to get the exit out. He goes around the wall, gets the catch onto the Jarvan, and then the rest of the team fight breaks out into utter chaos. Coben was slithers of her HP away from dying, but that passive auto attack healed him back straight to almost a half a health, and we can get into the replay here. Keep your eyes on Ball. He's reading Malice like a book, gets the stone off, and immediately forces the flash. He does eventually go down to Super Mega Death Rocket, and here, Lodestar Esports, they start the collapse, but Coben is so strong at this point in time. And the Sky's Descent hit absolutely everyone, as it does when it is stacked up, and the shutdown came in onto that Alistar. And it goes back to the point, all that gold from Ruddy is into the cow. So the damage from the Azir, the Ashe, it's lackluster. It's missing because of the gold going into Alaric. And you saw in that team fight there, it was crucial because no one right now can kill this Aatrox.
So hard. The healing is incredulous. There's no anti-heal across the board at all for the side of Ruddy. As this dragon spawns, it would be soul point if they were able to secure it. And with no Skies Descend and no flash on this Jinx, it is your angle. The Nord and Ball heading up the entrance. Coben is on a solid flank. So fight would start. There is the Nature's Grasp coming down, and it tags onto 2 members. Is already built for a grave, an early grave. That is Falling Star tags onto 2, forces a cleanse out of Nata. Alaric going to be next on the chopping block. This dragon is still leashed. It resets now. Coben still looking for more, as is forced. Malice able to flag and drag onto Coben, gets the Cataclysm, gives his life to keep his carries alive. But 3 members fall oh so quickly in favor of Int. And once again, the Titans of SOL rise to the occasion and start looking at the Baron.
And you're looking at that scoreboard and wondering, man, how different this game would be if those 3 kills on Alistar were spread across the right champions. But unfortunately for Lodestar Esports, their carries are too weak right now. You saw Nord just dive into the entire Roddy backline, and he didn't even die. He's not even low. He barely lost HP because there's just no damage. Look at Rakka's auto attacks onto the support. It does nothing right now. And in Esports, they win that team fight on the bottom side, get the dragon, they go over to the Baron, finish that off. Ruddy are going to try and chase them out, but there's just no damage from the carries, and they are just going to walk away with a massive lead in their pocket. They are in driver's seat of this game, in control, and they are en route to closing this game out up against the Titans of Lodestar Esports.
They absolutely are, and this is a beautiful statement game for Int so far. Really doing the SOL proud in this game. We'll take a quick look back at that fight.
Yeah, and the initial engage was just started by Nord because he just knows he's confident. Rodio's the one that started the dragon, but you do not want to be locked into the pit against a team composition like this. And look at the damage coming out from the Roddy carries. It's non-existent. Enchanted Crystal Arrow scored a World Cup goal final, and it's no one was under threat of dying.
Fight on the top side as everybody starts to move up. A beautiful pullback by Forsland, completely annihilate Rocco and Alaric. Malice, the next one to fall. The skies truly descend across the rift as Int prove that Ruddy are nothing in their wake.
Yeah, this is just straight up domination coming out from Int Esports. The SOL representatives looking to do their nations proud. 14 kills to 6. Roddy Esports backs against the wall with nothing to answer up against this Swedish powerhouse, because Int Esports right now sit with a big lead, and there's nothing that I'm seeing that can stop this onslaught heading towards the side of Roddy Esports. We'll get into the replay here. Initially, the dive just starts out with the Nature's Grasp, as it has done. Nord has done such a good job at knowing the timers of how effective this ultimate can be used, and Forsland flies in over the wall, and like the god of the rift, Forsland is just showing his prowess on the champion like Aurelian Soul. Did get killed early on into the game, but he's just coming to his own throughout the entirety of this best of one. And right now, Roddy Esports, they're running out of options. The list of ways to win this game are starting to diminish as time goes by, and Int Esports really in control of this game.
Absolutely beautiful, the control that Int are showing, the CC layering that they're able to put forwards in this game. As they look to break open yet another tower.
Yeah, another turret, and well, that's the thing right now. It's like Roddy Esports. Yes, of course, if we get this Azir onto 3 items, if we get this Ashe onto 3 items, there is a way for us to win this game. But you're on a timer now because Int are so strong, and Roddy Esports, they have to group up.
What they do is Cobban has found a way onto 2 more. The Cataclysm is going to do nothing as Rocco and Malice fall like flies, not having to run for the hills, but Cobban not letting them get away. It's a 3rd one falling across the map, and there's the 4th, and with Built the only one left, he is built on a castle of dreams, and it comes shattering down around him. Int, another clean ace, and the game may just be theirs.
Yeah, we were told that there's a super team featured in this matchup. Little did we know it was on the side of Int Esports, because they're the ones facing up to the names and the reputation of Roddy. The talent was a lot, but the team play is just even better for the side of Int Esports. This probably won't be the end of the game because the death timers are too short, but it is basically enough to say that Int Esports are on the brink of closing this one out. Inhibitor down, base is open, broken wide open for the side of Roddy, and they're running out of options. As I mentioned earlier, it's getting really close to the point of no return. As we enter the replay here, you can see how this one broke. Yeah, it's massive right now. Cobban interrupts that blast cone onto 2 people. The timing was immaculate. Ball came in with the crash down onto 2, and look at the damage. Omni's tanking turret even. He doesn't care. And there's just so much damage coming out from these targets. Cobban is a tank and a bruiser at the same time. Nothing to deal with him. And these fights aren't even close. I'm looking at the health bars of Roddy, of Int Esports members, and they're barely being touched. They're barely being scratched on the surface of it. And it's just pure domination from this point onwards.
Absolutely, as we can see Forsland shifting up towards this top side to defend against the 3-member strong. This dragon just going to be given across. It is the 4th dragon of the game, the 2nd dragon for Int. Built, stepping up a little far as Ball and Cobban are collapsing. See if this kill does go down. Forsland defending top side very beautifully. Built, you're gone, friend. You may be built different, but right now, you're built like a target for Int. And a target is exactly what you are. So they can start barreling down this bottom lane. The Baron buff has run out. There is no hand of the Baron helping push this base down. But it may not matter. 4 members strong on the bot side. Forsland has TP. See if this defense can happen, but this has to be a Hail Mary, a last stand for Ruddy, and they find the arrow onto Cobban. There's no way forward, but the healing is too much. The Modern comes in and he gives all of his health back, and just like that, all 5 members are annihilated. They've done it. They have felled the Titans, and while the Castle of Dreams shatters, the underdogs rise anew. They bring their own legacy. From the Svenska Online Ligan, they may have found their way forwards, and they are truly a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah, we call them underdogs, but realistically, look at that scoreline. The only underdog here belongs to the side of Ruddy. A dominant game. You saw that team fight there. I think that was the story of this game. The amount of time it took for Ruddy to bring that Aatrox to whatever HP he got, and then suddenly Asol arrives, Jinx arrives, the rest of the squad arrives. Everyone's dead in a second, in a flash, in a blink of an eye. And that was the story of this game. In esports, showed up big time. Massive props to them. I was excited to see what Ruddy could do with this explosive roster, but I back away from this game saying, in esports, well done. Back to you. You guys are the superstars of this series, or this game.
Absolutely. Beautifully done. MVP votes will be up in chat for you guys at home. Me personally, Nord put this game in a position that was winning from the start. And it was beautifully done. And while Cobblin deserves an absolutely insane shout out, as does Portland, it's off the back of Nord's early awareness that this game truly became what it was. So my vote does go towards.
Yeah, I was literally going to say the same thing, because I'm looking at the game here from Maokai in the draft. It's so difficult. What Nord was able to do in this game, the result he achieved was like, it was like a 10 in 100 chance. Like, very few junglers can provide the results that he did with this composition. It's like, your only angle here is to play for topside and hope that the Renekton makes a mistake. Every time he ganked top lane, it was the perfect timer, where Renekton didn't have ult, or he had committed into a heavy trade where his spells were on cooldown. And yeah, I agree. Really massive props to Nord for a fantastic game on the map.
Yeah, absolutely. And say, Nord, second upset of the day. We are on a day of upsets, and an amazing, just beautiful game it was. Now, before we go ahead and throw to a break, I will remind you once more that the Ecology Initiative, partnered with Verdant, L donations will be matched 1-to-1 up to €1,000 with a minimum donation of €500. Now, our next game is going to be an interesting one. If memory serves, we are looking at, it's below me, isn't it? It is Lundqvist Lightside versus Epic Avalanche, but we have a bit of intentional fun for you in the break. Int fans, don't go anywhere. You're going to want to see this vaccine.
Venus back from a rough patch, trying to reschedule the first match. DMG refused and said if we play we'll lose. Okay then, if that's how it's gonna be, guess we'll show everyone that you're free. The next team we played was G2 Hell. They didn't even cast a single spell. No game, no chance to steal their fame. They heard clouds roam the rift and were scared to play. Too much respect for Noda's flame. We are an anti-super team, dominating all the star stream, known as the clowns. Here we claim our crown, getting stronger and growing our brand, undefeated in the playoffs, and all it takes to bend. We are an anti-super team, dominating all the star stream, known as the clowns. Here we claim our crown, getting stronger and growing our brand, undefeated takes a band. A new challenger rose up to the fight, bar addicted to you and all of their might. A powerful foe, but weaker without a bow. Hard fought and close at first glance, but would trundle in the jungle. They never had a chance. LodestarEsports Esports with nothing to show, put up a fight, tried to break our flow. However, they were strong, our estimation was wrong. Almost beat us with draft so clever, but in the end we came back stronger than ever. We are an NLC super team, dominating the Lodestar stream, known as the clowns. Here reclaim our crown, getting stronger, growing our plan, undefeated in the playoffs. Now it takes a band. Super team, dominating all of the star stream, known as the clowns. Here we claim our crown, getting stronger, growing our brand, undefeated in the playoffs, and now it takes a band. The CEO, the Austin Patrol, without Condor, Austin wasn't full, wasn't full. Drive, as his team said, nice try. First pick on by the top lane, go for game 2, that was all she wrote. We are an NLC super team, dominating all of the star stream, known as the clowns. Here reclaim our crown. Jag on me, our grammar, forming our brand, getting stronger and growing our brand. Team, dominating all of the star stream, known as the clowns. Here reclaim our crown. Jack on me, our grammar, forming our plan, getting stronger and growing our brand.
Lodestar Esports now coming over to this Baron. The Volibear seems to be first to be going in with the ultimate. Sejuani ultimate missing the backline completely. MF ult coming down, taking down only the Volibear with the Vi ult in the backline on the ADCs. The jungler's gonna go down.
Hello! Whoa! There's a bit of a tag in here with the newcaster joining. Welcome. It's Big Nose Mikey. I'm still here to cover the game the rest of the day. Now, this series, last game, we had Ruddy Esports up against Int Esports, two powerhouses in the European League of Legends scene. Now, we head over to two new faces. It's Longfist Lightside up against Epic Avalanche. And we were discussing a lot of the patch. You know, you see the Syndra ban already, the Yone tagged out. So is the Skarner. So a lot of pro picks banned out here. And Mikey,
Oriana
welcome to the cast.
well.
Yeah, welcome to the cast. Tell me your breakdown on what or how you view the current meta.
Well, I mean, it seems to go into a pretty standardized team composition, scaling meta. I guess right now you have a lot of changes into that bot side, into that ADC role as well. So the meta right now, I think it's pretty much like it was a couple of seasons ago, where you enjoyed the gameplay a little bit as a player, and it's not like you have a 2-3 ADs like crazy picks here and there. Now there are a lot of APCs bot in this meta. Like you have a Ziggs, you have a Seraphine, you have a lot of things, a Karthus even as that can go in the bot lane. But for the most part, teams opting to go for that normal composition. Now we can see the Kai'Sa is a very extremely strong pick, can be played both AP AD, provides a lot of value for your team. So Avalanche are gonna take that in. Now on the other side, the Jax and the Sejuani, two extremely strong picks. Sejuani is a prio pick as well in the competitive scene right now, because she's extremely strong, provides a lot of utility to your team. And Jax, well, you know, that powerhouse after level 11 on that side lane. So two pretty good standard picks from light side.
Yeah, and it's really important to notice. I know a lot of people might, be a bit questionable was why you picked Jax this early. Jax can be flexed into the jungle, and Sejuani can be flexed into top lane. So for Longfist light side, they have the choice whether to put the Jax either into the jungle or the Sejuani into the top side, depending on how the rest of the draft plays out. I will say Epic Avalanche, they lock in the brand. Now, I don't know what your opinions of brand are, but I know this champion has fallen very far down in the power levels.
Yeah, it has fallen in the last couple of patches, but I still think he's a pretty viable pick. It is also picked as well in big competitive leagues still, so it's not that bad. It needs some time to scale. It needs a couple of items on his back in order to be able to make, some impact. But especially if you go that Ghost, I've seen a lot of brands having a lot of early game impact just because they pop up that Ghost. They go bot lane and they secure summoners, they secure maybe a kill, So it is a very annoying camp to play against, Let's not forget that.
Yeah.
And you might as well say it could be like a flex pick, because you can see it in the support lane, you can see it in the mid lane. So you have 3 lanes to play about it. So I like what they did to pick it as second, because it leaves some room of thinking, like, where is this brand gonna go finally?
Yeah, exactly. And interesting thing, of course, they lock in the Kai'Sa Nautilus. Traditionally, a very aggressive 2v2 in the bot lane. But what that did mean is that it opens up the Rel. The reason why Rel is risky to pick blind is because there are champions like Alistar, like Poppy, that can literally stop everything that Rel wants to do in the game. Nautilus being shown very early on means that, they get their hands onto the Rel in a really nice engage tool. We see the Xayah locked in, and I like this against the Nautilus, Kai'Sa, and the Brand. Champions that like to go forward. Xayah very defensive into that. It's just going to be really tough to kill in this game with the draft that Epic Avalanche currently have.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen Xayah kind of popping up here in the semi-professional scene, and it seems to be like a very good pick towards Nautilus, towards a lot of projectiles that you have when you need to disengage. It seems such a perfect pick, So I like what Lightside did here by just locking that in, letting the last pick for the mid lane, so it is a pretty safe pick as a Zaya. Early game is a little bit difficult, I guess, especially against the Nautilus Kaisa. They have a lot of burst damage, in the bot lane, and Zaya, she's not that good in the first 6 levels. Like, she can be punished, so you need to be very careful how you approach the game. Now, on the other side, they're going for kind of a skill jungler. I love the Lee Sin here. It's been a while since I haven't seen it. Seems to be shooting very well with the rest, and now just because of that, we can see Brand is going to be in the mid lane, so we have the Lee Sin jungle and the Garen top. That one button champion that we all hate, but it's super fun to watch as well sometimes. And Lightside are going to go for the Rise. Now that is a very interesting pick coming here, because with the new patches, Rise rose a bit more into the meta, and it seems to be like a very strong pick. But for some reason, I haven't seen it pop off yet in any games that I have casted or any leagues. So I'm very excited to see what Harbo is going to do on this champ, because it seems to be kind of busted, but not a lot of people know it yet.
Yeah, no, it's definitely really strong. I think the Rise and Durability patch benefits a champion like Rise really well. He is, I wouldn't even consider him as a control mage. He's borderline an AP bruiser with the amount of HP and resistances that Rise actually has in his build. And so a lot of sustain. I'm taking a look at these fights. I will say, these fights are either going to end very quickly, or they're going to take a really long time for anyone to die. So with that being said, I think Rise really benefits in a game like this, because what he struggles against is long range. He's a very short range mage, but I'm looking at the side of Epic Avalanche right now. There's not that much range on their side either. A lot of these are short range champions, and Rise actually benefits a lot against this kind of draft.
Yeah, exactly. As you said, you really love to pick Rise into short range compositions, and this is exactly where you had to pick the Rise. Now, he's a little bit immobile for the side. Like, Avalanche can't pick this Rise, here and there, but that is why you build a little bit tanky. You build a lot of HP on that champ, so even if you get a little bit caught, you can still dish out so much damage. You have that seal to keep you alive. It takes a lot of time to take a Rise down, and in the meantime, you're gonna have a Jax, you're gonna have a Zaya hitting you. So I don't know, light side, just because of this pick, I love their draft. So I'm gonna vote, like, I'm gonna go like they're gonna win this just because of the Rise, and I hope it's gonna pop off just because of that. Now on the other side, let's not forget, like, you have a lot of skill involved. You have a Lee Sin, you have the Kaisa, that she needs to be very careful of how she approaches this team fight. The Brand, like, he's gonna throw his stuff, he's gonna throw everything out and probably gonna die. He's gonna try to kind of kite, but he won't really do much. Everything is gonna be on how this Kaisa plays the fight.
And of course, we're gonna have our predictions, but I want to remind everyone in the Twitch chat, make sure you put your own prediction. We want to know what you think. So in the Twitch chat poll, put your vote as to who you think is going to get the W, who you think is going to win out. We didn't have enough time to break down these two rosters, but I know Epic Avalanche, they are a Finnish team. I don't know if anyone knows the jungler, but that's actually Tatui. There's a lot of NLC experience. So a lot of the times in these tournaments, I've seen teams from Finland cause a lot of upsets, but Luckfist Lightside definitely the favorites in my opinion.
Oh, well, I am very excited because I do not know these players a lot. I haven't had time to study them yet, but I am very excited because it seems like every player is pretty high elo, so we're gonna have a pretty banger of a game here. Now, we're gonna have a pretty standardized start. You have the classic ward now. This is very good. Our lovely Rise is gonna get first level 2 on the mid lane, and Brand is pretty vulnerable to ganks. Like, um, even though it's considered as a safe champ, when you have a Rise and Sejuani, you need to be very, very careful of where you go towards, how you walk into the river, and you need to be aware of where the jungler is, because if you just do one small misstep, there's so much CC to lock you down, and Brand early on, he can be locked down extremely easy. So it's gonna be this mid matchup. It's gonna be very, very passive from his side, and you need to be always the bushes, because this Sejuani will be lurking. Now, both junglers starting on the top side, this is a pretty standard. When you have like a kind of a struggling bot side and a very like punishing bot side, both junglers tend to actually pass bot because, well, one side is you're gonna need to protect, and the other side you're gonna want to go aggressive for your teammates and see if you can get something. So both junglers opt into a very standardized pathing, and I would be very surprised if we wouldn't see a fight here on minute like 330. Like both junglers might have a small scuffle here on the bot side, hopefully.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised either. But a lot of the champions here kind of want to play scaling. I think the one exception, of course, is Garen Lee Sin. They are very aggressive. I think arguably even Brand in the laning phase. Very aggressive. Actually wrote down on the block side as Eru dropped down to low HP. He's going to have to dredge line to the wall to try and get himself out of there. But first blood already locked in for Hattori's. And it looks like VL will just have to watch his fallen comrade die to the hands of the bot lane of Lockfist Lightside. Already first blood 3 minutes into the game.
Yeah, kind of Nautilus over there, like kind of overestimating his tankiness. That was very unfortunate. And he just dropped so fast. Like you need to be very careful of Zaya feathers, right? I mean, they do so much damage. You get the CC. So Iru, if I hope I'm spelling his name correctly. A little bit of a miscalculation on his part. Now this Zaya is on a very good path here. He hasn't even backed yet. A very good wave right now. It's a very stacked wave. She needs to be very careful. She wants to push and back right now. But Lee Sin did a very good move to try and make sure that maybe they can get something out of this. But I think it's just too much right now.
Yeah, very aggressive engage coming out here from Raihan to Amari as he's being CC'd up to death. Housewen's going to claim the kill credit for that one. Hook in coming in from Eru, but the feathers are doing so much damage. BL, one more auto attack is going to get a kill on to the Rel. It's a 1-for-1 for now as the bot lane are going to try to run away. The dredge line doesn't connect as Bash is going to be able to dart tick charge over the wall to safety.
Oh, Brand is coming.
That mid lane, but keep your eyes on the minimap because Brand is starting to move over downwards to the Sejuani. Bash gets hooked up by Eru. That's going to be another kill into the pocket of the Finnish roster as Epic Avalanche trade up even in the 2-for-2 kill score. And it looks like it's a very tightly contested game, back and forth. A lot of fights happening on the bot side of the map.
Yeah, I mean, as I said, when you have a little trade here on the top side, and Lee Sin is very close, so
yeah,
Max, I think you need to run, boy.
Yeah, he made that bot side play, heading over to the top side to try and see if he can claim any kills. Winter gonna use that ward he has in his inventory to jump away. Housewind is here as well.
Sneaky.
I don't think he can do anything, as it would just be a back off and back to farming up camps. But already very explosive, very different to the last two games we had, which was calm and controlled, explosive to start this one.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta love an explosive game, right? I love when the players like start the game just punching, going at each other, and just, well, you have all these deaths, you have a lot of action happening. Now, from all this action, I think a lot of benefit goes to the Zaya. Out of all this, she had a very good wave. She got a kill and an assist on her back. On the other side, careful,
in danger. Q flash from Housewind. Here comes the charge from the three members of Bluntfist Lightside. Flash didn't even have a chance to be casted, as there were three people layering the CC immaculately. That's another kill over to the light side. And on the top side, Winter jumps in. He's going to get that Counter-Strike stun. Level 6 to level 5. And Carlworks has to cower away to the back end of his turret. It's going to be another aggressive play coming out.
Yeah, a little bit of a waste ult there, I guess, from Jax. He wanted to do some extra damage, but I don't think you should ult there because Garen is just going to heal up, you know, under the tower. But in any case, that CC stack was beautiful. As I said, Brand needs to be very careful and needs to have everything worded just because of that. Not even a 2-man. He got 3-man gang and he couldn't even move. So if you see the map right now, Red side has done a beautiful job on actually making sure that mid had no vision. So Rel could move very easily. Sejuani was just waiting on the other path. And as Brand, you have to play even more far back. just because it's so easy to get ganked. Now, ooh,
Oh
on the
my
bot
god,
side,
Eru with a dredge line going past Housewind, hitting onto Hattori's already. But look, Void Grove secured on the other side of the map. Keep your eyes on Bash because he's arrived into the bottom side of the map. Level 6 not activated for either of the bot laners of Epic Avalanche. I don't think a fight is going to break out. You even saw Harbo moving downwards to maybe cast a Realm Warp underneath the turret. They're just going to back away from this play, having some discipline there. A lot of health bars, Chunk. Really, really nice dredge line there from Eru to trade that one back.
yeah, it was really good in order to just make sure that they can trade and not lose a lot, right? Because that seemed like a very bad trade in the beginning. But Kai'Sa as well dodged the engage from Rel, so that makes it that much easier to trade back. Now, they're going to secure the Drake out of this. It is a pretty good trade with the Void Grubs going in for the blue team. Team Avalanche securing those. They're going to love it because they have a Garen on the side lane.
There is a contest here, though. Bash is going to go over the wall.
No way, they're going to lose it.
Yeah, and they are actually just going to have to concede this. You could see Merza was the mid laner that was able to move first. Harbo did get the wave crash, but at what cost? Because they're just going to have to give up that dragon. So first one over to Epic Avalanche.
Yeah, and the Void Grubs. I mean, when you do the Void Grubs, you usually wanna trade them, right, for the Drake. And this is such an unfortunate series of events, which makes the Drake go to Avalanche. But right now, the game state is pretty even for both teams. As you can see, we're not gonna have any major buys anytime soon. We still have a couple of minutes, I guess, until the first items come in. So until then, having the Void Grubs and having that extra Mountain Drake for the Garen is insane. When you have that powerhouse on the side lane, that he went with Ignite, right? So that means he's not gonna join his team anytime soon. While Jax, yes, got the TP, he's gonna try. Ooh, nice, good flash, very good reaction time. Well, I was saying, Jax is gonna have to TP. To help his team most likely in the near future. So when you have those Void Grubs as Garen, you just want to take those towers down as fast as possible. Right now, Red side needs to make sure that they do not lose the other three Void Grubs because it's going to be very bad for the later stages of the game.
Yeah, really bad if that was to happen. I would say, obviously gold lead currently sitting in favor of Lunkfist light side. I want to ask you, is there one draft that you favor the scaling over? Because in my opinion, it's like not even a question that Lunkfist light side have the scaling in their hands.
You know what? Yes, but the only thing I do not like from Team Avalanche, I love their team composition, but I do not like the Garen. If they pick like a Norn, something that could, a Jax, to be honest, even not a Jax, sorry, a Wukong, to be honest, even be so good here, just because of the value that he can provide in the team fights. Now, the Garen, I kind of not like that, so I'm gonna go for red side here. Light side really do have a very nice composition, easy to pull off as well. A lot of CC, a lot of negate of the engage from the other team. So I favor them, and now they're gonna, as I mentioned, they have to get the Void Grubs. So they're doing a very good job. Rel came up here, so he's gonna ward the enemy jungle, and they want to make sure that they get those Void Grubs. Because if they lose them, they know that Garen is gonna be a pain to deal with in that side lane. But Avalanche knows that this play is happening, and they brought some backup as well.
Yeah, a lot of members deployed over to the top side of the map. Looks like, well, Rautan Tomori is just going to spot out Houseman, meaning he has to leave and walk away. Void Grubs have now spawned. I think Lunkfist light side, clear intentions that they want to contest this, but it's already started up. One already secured. They've actually moved Winter over to the bottom side of the map, and he's pushing a lot of plates here, forcing the teleport out of the brand even. So whilst they do secure the grubs, they're actually...
Oh, they're gonna dive him.
Yeah, oh, maybe they are. Yeah, pings are starting to go down. The recall is being challenged. To get this off, he's going to be fine. You can see the pings. Lunkfist Lightside thought he moved back over to that bush near the tier 2 turret, but he just recalls underneath the one he's under, and he's absolutely
insane
fine.
macro from Merza there. He just knew that it's coming. He knew everyone is coming to dive him, and he said, okay, you know what? I'm out. I can leave 6 minions die on this tower and just be safe, you know. So I love the what he did here with not dying to the dive, because this was a very easy dive to pull off, I guess. So now we have a small swap. Um, both ADCs went to the top side. Now you cannot leave the Kai'Sa alone with Zaya. As you can see, the Kai'Sa was forced to back here. So you need to be very close to her, because on 1 versus 1 situation, he kind of struggles with the range of Zaya. Now there's nothing much happening, and we have in 40 seconds break coming up, and I think Lightside is going to want to fight this objective, because even though they have a very scaling composition, yes, they cannot be letting every single objective go, because at the end you're gonna lose. You're just
Yeah.
everywhere, and it's not very good for the later stages of the game, right?
Yeah, well, Krub's already picked up by Epic Avalanche. It's going to give a lot of pushing power to the Garen. Drake's going to be important, but VL taking so much damage in the mid lane. Harbo got... I mean, he's got a sorcerer's shoes, and apparently he does that much damage already. But a beautiful insect onto the Sejuani kicks him back to the rest of Epic Avalanche. But the damage from Harbo is just too much, as the Lee Sin no longer exists onto the Rift for the moment in time. It's going to be a 1-for-0 trade. Bash has to retreat with the amount of HP he has. He's going to channel the recall. They're going to be able to revisit this dragon once they return to the map. But a beautiful kill. Bit too far forward from the Lee Sin. Nice kick initially, but he did go underneath the turret, tanked up too much damage, and has to give his life.
Yeah, a little bit desperate there, I could say, from the Lee Sin. I mean, yes, you might take her down, but you don't have that much burst to take down a Sejuani. So, you know, spending all that just to kill her and eventually dying as well is not a very, very good trade. Now, as we're going to see here on the replay, Rise just TP'd in with a full item, and they just take these guys are very, very low.
Oh my
Now
god.
I don't know why Avalanche thought they can go in. They have just 2 people against 3. It's 2 versus 3 right now. You have a Nautilus, yes, coming in from the behind, but Lintin just beat a little bit too much there than he could chew. And they don't even get to finish the Sejuani, while Zaya is already moving as well. When you have your ADC going back, you can just lane and make sure that you live to fight another day. So yeah, a little bit of a desperation there from the side of Avalanche. And you don't have to do that, right? I mean, you have the Drakes, you have Void Grubs. You can scale pretty good at this point. So, chill, take your time.
The biggest thing was, like, VL got chunked out so much, he wasn't going to be part of that fight, whether or not it was a good kick, right? And so you're missing a massive source of damage, and whilst the kick was good, you kicked a, Sejuani into a Brand and a Nautilus? That's not enough to kill the Sejuani. And right now, Lungfist Lightside, very far ahead. They did eventually lose out on that dragon, but I don't think it matters. They do scale. Once that third dragon comes around, these champions will maybe start to hit the power spike. We're already seeing the damage that the Rise is able to output. Got that Archangel's completed now. So, you know, moment's time, maybe that era could be proven costly.
Yeah, exactly. But, you know, I like how they are securing objectives in Avalanche, because objectives can actually win you the game. They're not losing a lot on their gold department. Like, they're only 2k behind. I guess there's like a 500, 600 difference there. On the rolls, but that's okay, because you have the Drakes to actually compensate for that loss. And if you manage to go to Soul Point as well, that's when the game really opens up, because you can bait so many things from the enemy team. You can bait a Drake while doing the Baron, just because they are afraid that you're going to get the Soul, you know. So Team Avalanche do have some ways into this game, but they need to be very careful how they approach the next 3 to 4 minutes of the game. You have a Drake coming in 2 minutes 30. You have the Baron coming up. And so, we have some trades here on the bot side, and Jack's already popped the Wolf. Again, very early.
Heavy trading between these two, but the biggest thing is I'm seeing Houseman make his way over here. I don't think a fight will break out. Ultimate already used by Winter, meaning they will just have to back off.
Well, they spot this Lee Sin.
Objective.
That's
yeah, they
good.
know where the Lee Sin is. There's no objective for the next 2 minutes, so I can imagine a fight to be happening. Interruption on the recall there. And it's just going to be some farming up for now. Slugfish light side, they're still in control, and they don't necessarily need to force any plays.
Yeah, well, they want to get the mid lane here, I think, and they can get the mid lane pretty easy because they have a Rise. Look at the Rise lurking. They know that the Avalanche might go for the 3 versus 3, so they're keeping the Rise just a little bit far on the back to make sure that they are safe or if anything happens. Now, I love how they just keep vision completely of the mid lane, right? Like, they always have everything worded. They know where everyone is. And that opens up the rest of the map. As you can see, Rise is pushing on the top side pretty, well, without any contest, right? And you can see the power of the Void Grabs. Look at one minion.
Whoa,
and they
whoa,
take down a
massive
tower.
damage coming out here from Carvox.
No way.
Using the Demacian Justice is going to finish off at Tories. Housewind with a slither of health. The flank comes in from Bash, but you're just at the 20. But here comes Harbo as the Rise is going to right behind the entire enemy back line and do the DPS. One kill over to the side of Winter as the crash down is still yet to be used from Housewind. Surviving for now, and he's gonna live as Bash dives forward with the Arctic Assault, finishes off the kill with the Sejuani W. And look, this light side, they want the ones to start this team fight, but they're definitely the ones to put an end to it. The Herald crashed into the mid lane as well. They lost the turret and their AD carry, but at the end of the day, they win the team fight at a massive scale. They're even gonna get 2 charges as Carlworks has to watch this all happen right in front of his eyes.
Yeah, now you need to back away very quickly as Sejuani because the Drake is coming up in 30 seconds. You have kind of a decent... Oh, let's see the replay first, and then we're going to go in the live game. Now, you see Garen going very deep here, but they know they can't kill the Xayah. So you have 2 flashes going in for that Xayah. That opens up, you know, when the Jax goes in, he can just trade everything and just go ham because there are no flashes, there are no ults on the other side. And when the Rise joins in, that's when chaos breaks out for Team Avalanche and they just go down one by one. That was a very good fight here for the side of light side. The Xayah unfortunate to die here, and now we're gonna have the Drake up. The Sejuani went back, but just because of the timers, they are missing out on a lot of rounds. Now, it's going to be very hard to walk into this Drake. You have to walk into a Brand and an Insect and a Garen, an Insect, Lysine, a Garen. So it's very hard to walk up into this composition. Now, they pushed the mid lane with, you know, it's the most the clear thing that you need to do when you're trying to do the Drake. You need to push the mid lane.
Yeah, well, that's a fight because Trenchline is onto Harbo. The target is clear. Great insect from Ruhan to Omari. But then look who's winning this team fight. The Rise is eventually going to go down as the Kaiser picks up that shutdown immediately. Housewind going to be the target. Keep your eyes on the Kaiser because he's going to be the carrier of the team fight. Winter staying alive for now. The Rise is missing out on this team fight. A massive amount of damage, but Hattori's and Winter both still staying strong and still alive. Bash gonna have to play the front lines, doesn't have any tools to start and re-engage this team fight, but the numbers advantage are on them. The health bars are low on both sides. The Dragon gets restarted up again as the VL deploys that mid lane wave. Kaiser does get the regeneration in. Voidseeker doesn't find its mark, but Housewind playing inside that bush. Carlworks stepping forward, using that E to shred through everyone he can, but doesn't have the Demacian Justice, so isn't going to finish off any targets. Bash goes forward onto BL. He's managing to flash away to safety. Eru has re-arrived to the team fight, but the Dragon is going to get secured by Luckfist light side, and I think that's the end of this team fight. Voidseeker not going to land onto a target. Eru is here. Trenchline almost finding a target onto Hattori's, but he does use that Featherstorm to get away. And all in all, despite the tensions being high, it's Luckfist light side that come out the victors.
Yeah, and they're gonna be very happy with this outcome just because they make sure that they get the 3rd Drake. They do not leave any room for Avalanche to just have a game where they can probably win by getting a soul here. So as we're gonna see in the replay, it was a very... Oh, no, never mind. I apologize. I thought we were gonna see a replay of the fight, but... Team. Oh yes, we are indeed gonna see a fight now. Insect. Lysine started this fight with a beautiful Insect onto the Rise. Now Rise, before he died, he dished out a lot of damage, and Garen managed to create a lot of ground for his team by being on the Xayah and the Rel. Now once they grouped up again, Team Avalanche had to back away, but this Garen is healing. Look at him. No one is touching him, so he's healing slow and steady. And they are trying to get this soul. They do not want to leave it, but they beat a little bit more than they can chew. And this Garen just unfortunately goes in 1 versus 3. He dies, and Sejuani on the other side sees just making sure that Kaisa is not able to join the fight, and this secures the Drake for Team Lightside. Very well played by them, very patiently making sure that they can get the Drake without losing a lot. So here we could see the goal difference, right? Like we said that Team Avalanche is trying to get some objectives here, and just because of that, sneaky Baron, but I don't think you can do that. Yeah, they're gonna stop.
definitely.
So the
Definitely
goal
not.
difference right now for K, Team Avalanche had one chance of maybe turning it around. Oh no, Garen just died on the other side of the map. With Flash almost up and they ignite up. So this is very unfortunate. Garen doesn't have a lot of value here on the solo lane. So Team Avalanche needs to be very careful. They need to send people here to kill the Jax because he will take down your whole base. So please, someone send someone down here because Jax is just going at it. This opens up his team to just make sure that they can ward the Baron pretty effectively right now. They have some vision around it, so no surprise Barons coming in from Team Avalanche. And well, they can start it at any point of the game just because this Jax right now is a beast on the side lane. 402, 3 items completed. He got that Abyssal Mask, such a good item right now. I love that he has Lucidity Boots. That is very funny to me, you know, when you have a Jax. But in any case, pretty good buy by him. He has a lot of downs. Be careful with how you.
Yeah, I mean, I understand the Lucidity Boots. I think the Counter-Strike in this game is extremely important, but Wormwarp, sorry, into the bot lane as Mirza does have Flash, but he's in the face of 2 people. Good stun coming in from him to try and stay alive, but Winter is going to go unstoppable as the fight breaks out in the mid side, bottom side of the jungle, and it looks like the rail is ticking down to a lot of HP. VL goes in with the killer instinct, but it's going to be eliminated immediately by the feathers of Hattori's, and looks like Mirza dies on the bot side, a fight breaks out in the jungle, and Epic Avalanche, they're just faltering all across the map here. Longfist Lightside are the ones in control of this game, and might I say, in a very dominant fashion, they get themselves access to the Baron. Harbour even has teleport for any insurance policy, and it looks like Epic Avalanche, they're running out of options, they're running out of chances. There's only Eru and Carvox here to try and defend this one. He has to dredge line to the wall to get to safety. Carvox is just a Garen with no TP, so he's not going to be able to do anything. Teleport is going to come in from Mirza to try and defend this one. He has arrived to the scene. Winter with a flash stun on the counter strike, and Harbour has also teleported into this one, securing the Baron. Even more for Longfist Lightside. 15 kills to 5. A Baron buff just been secured. This is a dominant game. They're going to try and stop some recalls here. Winter does have to interrupt, but he does get the Q over the wall to safety. So a massive, massive play from Longfist Lightside, and it's been overall completely dominant by them.
Yeah, extremely dominant by them. I mean, they took their time in the early game. I love how patient this team is, right? Lightside, because they knew that early on, like if they took fights, they would lose. Yes, you have a strong team as well, but Team Avalanche had a much better early game. So they decided to just give out some objectives. They decided to give it some time and scale. And right now, every single member is a monster. Because Zaya, look at Zaya. She's on almost 3 items right now. Mid lane has 2 items, almost on a 3-item power spike. The top lane, I'm not gonna say Jax is just on another level. He cannot be contested. He's already taken a Drake solo, as you can see. So, and probably after that, he's gonna go towards that bot side because they want to try and take and do at least some damage on this tower. Now, I don't think it would be a good idea if you go to this bot side because there is a top side right now pushing towards you, and yes, the waves are pushed in, but they're going to be taken down until this Jax goes to the lane. So I'm not sure how this macro is. They're kind of wasting their time a little bit. You don't even have a cannon. Oh no, they do have a cannon wave. Yes, they do have a cannon wave. 3 members here, it's a little bit difficult to push. So perhaps take some time, back away, and go and push that top side so you can have 3 even lanes while you push. They're not going to do a lot here on this bot side. The wave gets cleared, as you can see, pretty easy. So it's just some time wasted. I think it's for light side. This is not very good, right? Because Avalanche is getting a lot of CS on their backs. Oh,
hang on a minute. We could be
Right.
seeing a decision made as they actually all move to the middle of the lane with no one there, opening up the bot side for Lunkfist light side to take. Rahan to Amari does land the Sonic Wave, doesn't follow up with anything. Bit of a misplay on the macro there for Epic Avalanche.
Yeah.
They give up that bot lane inhibitor turret for absolutely free. Winter didn't even die. Just recalling for free. He's going to teleport back in to the mid wave. I'm just going to keep going here as it could be a potential fight. They're going to put their attention
Yeah, I
still
think so.
towards this bot lane inhibitor. His tensions arise. Rauhan to Amari looking for a flank as they know Winter is in the mid lane right now.
Garen wants to
It is
flash.
a 4 versus 5 situation. Carwood is going to go in but gets immediately stopped by Bash. He is brought down to a low amount of HP. Winter is now entered into the fight. But that's a massive knock up into the ultimate from the brand. But look who's winning the team fight, because it is Lunkfist Lightside. The story of this game has just been their names written all over it. As the Zaya runs forward, just gets shot down by the Demacia Justice. As Lunkfist Lightside, just as I was complimenting them, goes a little bit too far forward. They drop 3 members. It's a 3 for 3. They lose out on the Baron, but they do at least break open the base of Epic Avalanche.
Yeah, I'm a little bit confused as to actually how they lost 3 members so quickly. Like, yeah, the Zaya played this really good. He spaced very well from the Garen because, as you could see, he had that Q ready. He wanted to flash on that Zaya, but he got he got CC'd for a long time, and he almost actually got one shot. Now, I'm not sure how they managed to lose 3 people because Rise was on a very good path to just destroy everyone. They were making sure they were gaining ground. They were doing a lot of damage without taking anything in. So a little bit of a weird fight. This Lee Sin is not very valuable, man, for Team Avalanche. This 0-6 Lee Sin, yes, he's going for some plays, but it's always the wrong target. And I mean, yes, right now, Rise has a Zonias, if you can see on his item list. So who are you going to try and kick? The Rise, he's gonna Zonias. The Zayas, he's gonna use that Featherstorm. It's very, very hard to play the game. And Garen might be in trouble. He has flash.
Recall interrupted. Housewind, really nice sniff on that one. Does have flash, does get over the wall for the rest of his team, but the robot being channeled in. That's whoa! That was miscoordinated as they only sent the Rel. Harbo baiting his teammate in a comedic fashion. As it looks like Housewind is just gonna have to get baited out, sold to the wolves. Should be able to push through this top lane turret. Winter in the mid lane, taking that duel up against VL. Has to use the killer instinct to get away. Great dredge line to CC down to Jackson. VL might survive off of this one. Rauhan to Amari finally finds some use in this game.
No way.
Used defensively, but Winter dodges away from the Sonic Wave, and he's going to abandon this play as Winter has survived. Both VL and Winter survive with a slither of HP. Somehow, some way, only the Rel is the only person dead off this entire play. That's
yeah, I mean, she died so funnily, though. I mean, I love how Rel died. Oh, we're gonna have a replay. Okay, never mind. We might have a replay. Oh, we might have a replay. Yes, the old replay here. So, as we're gonna see here, I want to see how the Rise died, because look at him. He's very good on HP. Oh, he got stunned by the brand there, and just, you know, Garen came up from the fountain with full HP, and he just uses that Demacia, that beautiful R button to just destroy his opponent. In a style, I might say, as well.
Yeah.
My microphone acting up. Sorry, guys.
It's I mean, this game is kind of coming towards its end here. Lunkfist Lightside opening up the base, and Housewind finds the crash down onto 2. Glacial Prison isn't going to find their target, but it doesn't matter because VL's already gone from this team fight. Winter on the back line as Rauhan to Amari has to use the wall jump away from his own mid laner, meaning Mirza is open to the wolves and dead where he stands. Epic Avalanche is going to meet its maker as Lunkfist Lightside find the light side at the end of this tunnel. They're just going to send the minions with the realm up underneath that turret. There's only a Garen standing between light side and the end of this game. Demacia Justice doesn't finish anyone off as the Archangels came in to save Harbo from death. Rauhan to Amari has been a rough spectator during this game as the Lee Sin drops to put the cherry on top of that cake. As a dominant game, 23 kills to 9, Lunkfist Lightside take the W against Epic Avalanche.
Yeah.
I mean, very, very well played by Team Avalanche. They just took their time. This Jax was a powerhouse on the top side. As I said, I don't like the Garen guys, and I came out very truthful because the Garen actually really cost them a lot. And Jax couldn't be dealt with. Like, who could deal with this Jax? Kaisa was dying. She had backup, but Jax had to be kicked away in order for them to survive. So who could deal with Jax? If you had like a different, like an Ornn here, Ornn
Yeah.
would be so good for these team fights. And he goes so good with Lee Sin, he goes very good with Brand, he goes extremely good with everyone. Every single piece would like fall into place if you had Ornn here. So very unfortunate draft, I might say, cost them a little bit the game for Team Avalanche. But I have to say that both teams played extremely well and they gave it their all. So well played to both teams. Very
Yeah,
deserved
and
win.
yeah, awesome game. Very controlled, very dominant. I would just like to remind everyone that Lodestar Esports, we're in partnership with Verdant. There is a partnership deal to raise awareness of the impacts of climate change. All proceeds will be donated to the Ecology Fund set up by Verdant. And yeah, so be sure to put in your donations, support the planet, save
Lovely.
the world. But yeah, really dominant game coming out from Lunkfist Lightside. I think Epic Avalanche is about going back to the drawing board. This is a long tournament.
Yep.
They can return, but we will head over to the break as we do have another game on the horizon. So see you then.
I thought I could feel this way. You came up on it
Lodestar Esports now coming over to this Baron. The Volibear seems to be first to be going in with the ultimate. Sejuani ultimate missing the backline completely. MF ult coming down, taking down only the Volibear with the Vi ult in the backline on the ADCs. The jungler's gonna go down. Be a triple kill for the way, maybe even going for a quadra.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Hope you didn't miss us too much, but we've returned, and now it's up to the final game of the day. Here, once again, joined by Big Nose Mikey. It's Verdant up against Dusty. Now, in the green room, you're actually asking, what are the level of these players? Now, this upcoming team, we're seeing two household names. Of course, actually, before I break down what these rosters are about, let me just remind everyone that we are running a campaign alongside Verdant to help climate change. All proceeds will go towards aiding that massive effort to impact the world positively. So be sure to put donations in for a better cause. But now, on to League of Legends, of course. These two teams last game, we saw a dominant one. I suspect these two teams will be very closely contested with each other. And here we will see the two rosters in front of us. On the side of Verdant, it's Prime, Noodle, Royson, Neramin, and FGG. Very household names to the NLC. And on the other side, Dusty, Cypher, Sosa, Legions, Hoys, Zazator, really known players. Dusty of an Icelandic organization. Legions and Hoys will hoist that banner forward in the Icelandic way. So, what do you think of these matchups here in front of us?
Well, just based on the champions I'm looking in front of me, I just cannot wait to have this game go already, because they seem so both teams seem extremely strong. Every single player seems to be, well, pretty high elo based, and also I love the champs that they are playing. So, I do not know personally these players yet, but I'm very certain that I'm gonna enjoy watching them play on the Rift. So, break it down a little bit for me on how these teams match up on against each other, because I'm very eager to see how well mostly the jungle matchup is gonna go, and perhaps the bot lane seems to be a very close matchup. Tell me a little bit about those roles.
Yeah, well, so Hoys has so much experience in the NLC, has even played when the NLC was at its peak, up against players like Draktar, up against players like Xmati in the NLC. So Hoys has a lot of experience himself. On the other side, FGG, an upcoming UK support, recently came off a split under Zeta division. Very successful in the Spanish league. He is going to be fielding without his jungle partner in No Name, but instead it will be Noodle, a Swedish superstar, formerly a mid laner, and well, I mean, currently hoisting in himself in the jungle. For the rest of the squad, Royson, a household name. I don't think I'm wrong in saying he's got EU Masters experience. I think he has fielded himself on LEC Academy rosters before. Challenger Peak, it says Masters, but I'm assuming that's the recent season. But I know this player. I've actually tried to scout him for my own teams multiple times, and so I rate this guy a lot. He's up against Legions, though, a very experienced player. I've seen this guy's Azir, absolutely incredible. So I'm expecting a banger of a game. Both these teams are experienced. I think the biggest thing across today has just kind of been, one team has a lot of experience, the other team are better as a roster. However, I think in both these two teams, they both tick those metrics. Good, talented individuals and great rosters themselves.
So it's gonna end up to having a very good draft for your team. Like you need to draft very well around the advantages that your team can provide, right? And from what I've seen from these champs that I've seen, we're gonna definitely have some targeted bans. Perhaps the Azir, as you talked about, it is a very strong pick right now as well in the meta. It fell off a little bit, but when you have a main on it, it can be picked, and I'm pretty sure we might see it, being banned in the early stages. So that might leave room for other very strong um, mid laners, as such as the Oriana or the Syndra, perhaps being skipped in the ban phase, and we're gonna see them in game. We're gonna see the real power they can provide. Now, all these players seem extremely well together with a lot of experience. So I am very certain that they're going to give us, with whatever drafts they have, they're going to give us a banger of a game, nonetheless.
It is going to be a banger of a game. I would want to mention that currently the meta has shifted to a durability kind of style, and obviously one, I guess, lane that we haven't necessarily discussed in too much detail is the top side of the map. I think it's hard to ignore that Prime's champion pool is as we saw, Aurelia was featured there. A champion that has fallen very far down in its power levels because of the item changes. I think every item that Aurelia builds has just been nerfed. Sundered Sky has been nerfed. Wit's End has been nerfed. Blade of the Rune King as well. And so maybe over to the top side might be some struggles for Verdant. However, again, we go back to the point. Two very experienced rosters that I'm assuming can materialize and be adaptive to the draft. And so there's not much separating these two rosters on paper. And I think immediately, straight off the bat, I want to ask you, right, we saw the jungler of Dusty Sosa, his most played champion was Shaker. And, this is non-conventional. And I don't think he should be featured in a game like today, especially up against a team like Verdant. But we'll have to see, of course. How do you think these two teams will field their drafts?
Well, I saw the brand on the other side, and I saw the Seiko on the side of Dusty. Now, the Seiko is a very unconventional pick, so I'm not sure if it's gonna be picked, even if it's open. But you never know what players have preferred and what their coaches have as well on their minds. Now, as we can see here, they're gonna start the banning phase with pretty standard bans. The J4, one of, if not the strongest jungler right now in the meta, is going to be taken away because even though their first pick, their blue side, they don't want this pick to exist, and I understand, because when you have like any immobile like an ADC or a mid laner, it's gonna cost you a lot having a Jarvan on the other side. The Skarner and the Yone ban, now Yone has popped off recently with the new changes. I'm not sure why, because I thought everything is gonna be a little bit more expensive, it's gonna be hard, but the lethal tempo making some work. So very smart to take him away, and alongside the Skarner, which can be flexed in every lane almost. They completed a very good banning phase on the side of Verdant, and the Ziggs ban, I just love it because damn the Ziggs APC, bro, on the bot side. I hate that champ so much, watching it pair against an ADC. So I love that Verdant just went and banned it straight away. Now they're gonna lock in the Rel, which is a pretty standard pick, a good safe first pick. It can be hard if you first pick it. It can be hard in the laning phase because it can be countered quite easy. Now you can have a Thresh, you can have a Nautilus, even a Braum is extremely good against that champ. So you give out a little bit of your draft early on, but it will compensate on that fourth and fifth pick. Now, the side of Verdant, they locked in the Kai'Sa. I love the Kai'Sa pick always because it provides a lot of value. It can be played AD, it can be played AP, has a lot of mobility, can survive on a lot of situations. So I love that pick. I'm not a big fan of the Renekton on the other side because I don't know. Someone made me hate the crocodile, and I'm not sure who, but it seems like it never wins games, man.
Yeah. I mean, the Renekton, I would say it's picked very early. I think
Yeah.
oftentimes you leave a counter pick for your top laner, but I mean, if he's confident to take it into anything that Cypher has, why not take the Renekton early doors? And you see. Yeah, Ornn is
please
going to
lock
be
in, Braum.
locked in. Yeah, Braum does look really, really good here. I will say Kai'Sa has been featured in a lot of today's games, and for a very good reason. This is the first time we're watching Varus out of today's games, and I'm curious to see how that one goes. I will say,
Yeah.
whilst Braum is good against the Ornn, it's not the best into the Rel, and
Yeah,
I think right
I
now
know.
you are considering, do we counterpick the Rel? Do we counterpick the Ornn? Or
Okay.
counterpick no one. I mean,
Oh,
I guess
nah, don't like it.
it's fine. It's fine into the Varus, but it doesn't really stop what Rel and Ornn are trying to do in this game.
Yeah, well, it can stop Ornn. It's a good pick because it can actually stop Ornn with that R button, if you time it well. But it needs, you need to hit it. It needs skill to do that. So it's going to be a little bit difficult to stop that Ornn going in with that ult. Now, she's very good on the Varus, and I don't like it a lot into the Rel, but when they hit that level 6, if the Rel goes in and Leona goes in on the Varus as well, you have the killer instinct and you can just go in with the Kai'Sa and murder this Varus, while Rel is unfortunately just walking very slowly to her most likely death. So,
Yeah.
not a bad pick. Not the best pick either. A Thresh would make more sense for me in this situation because he provides a lot with his Lantern as well.
I will say, initially I was like, in terms of a reactive pick into what was already picked by Dusty, Leona maybe not the best option. I will say, with the pairing of the Kai'Sa and the Renekton so far, it does kind of make sense of like just jumping in to the team fight, getting access onto the Varus makes it very easy with Leona. Now, the second rotation bans have already finished. There is no Syndra to be featured. Orianna still open. Probably, in my opinion, the strongest mid laner on the patch. So we'll see if either of them picked up. I will say, Syndra banned, meaning that the answer, the common answer into Orianna is not open for picking. So wouldn't be surprised to see that picked up by any of the teams. Instead, it's Xin Zhao. So the game plan from Verdant is very, very clear. Get on this Varus, kill him really, really quickly, and then there's just no more damage coming out from Dusty.
Yeah, I mean, this Xin Zhao makes sense, actually a lot of sense into this composition at least. It has a lot of disengage value. It can go into the backline pretty easy. Well, not very easy, but you can go through a lot of things with that W, with that E. You can close gap a lot. You can as well help your team disengage with that ult into the Ornn, into the Rel. So not a bad pick on the side of Verdant. So that helps a lot their mid lane because they know they know that it's an Orianna right now. We knew it as well that it's gonna be picked, as you said. It is the strongest. Now I think the Sacco is a troll, right? I'm not gonna say anything until the last second. I'm not gonna mention anything about this sake of being okay. Ooh, lovely. The Kazakhs. A very nice composition here from Dusty to round everything up. They have a pretty good team fighting. They have a lot of power in the 2 versus 2 as well. This Kazakhs does a lot of damage on the Xin Zhao, right? I mean, it is a little bit of a counter pick. So Verdant really locking in with that 4th pick on Xin Zhao. Now,
Whoa.
I'm sorry, I didn't expect this. I was waiting to see if it's a bug, if someone from the production would tell me, hey, it's not Lulu, it's something else. But Verdant here is gonna surprise everyone and lock in a Lulu mid. Now,
Okay, this is the first time I've seen Lulu mid in ages. Now,
yeah.
well, as we continue breaking down this draft, I'd like to remind everyone, please head over to the poll and vote for who you think has won out in the drafting phase. As I ask you, Picknose Mikey, break down this Lulu pick for me and why Verdant have decided to go for it.
Makes sense into those team fights. In the laning phase, I think she's gonna fall pretty behind. She needs to be very good on her last hitting, because if she's gonna be like 30 CS down, you cannot provide that much value for your team as to like an Oriana who's gonna R and destroy everyone. Now, she can keep their jungler safe. She can provide that extra CC. You know, when you're a Zinza, when you're a Renekton, and you go in and you have that extra knockup from Lulu, it's not bad. I like it as a spicy pick because, as I've mentioned as a lot of times while casting, I love me some spicy picks, man. And this Lulu is indeed one. She's gonna be safe in the lane, yes, and she has a lot of value, I guess, in the 2 versus 2. But I'm not sure. I just want to see how it's gonna work out in the game, because she might be the most useful champion in this draft, or she's gonna be the demise. She can just help with the Kazakhs going in as well. She can just bunny him up, and well, you don't have any damage right now, Kazakhs. You're just a bug who's gonna die. And let's not forget, they have a lot of bursts. So makes sense. You know what? Lulu makes 100% sense. Now, it's not good as a mid laner, so very careful on how you play it in the mid lane. Obviously, the players have played it before, they have practiced around it, so they know how it works. Or I'm very eager to ask the player if it was just the moment, you know, a pick of the moment. He just decided, you know what, like Caps did on that Vayne game, you know, that famous Vayne game where he locked in that Vayne. And yeah, I mean, I'm very eager to see how it's going to work out. I hope it works out for them, because it's an interesting pick to start, you know, showcasing on this new meta.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know if anyone does know this, but Royson is actually the kind of player that favors enchanters in mid lane. I've seen him play Karma, I've seen him play Lulu multiple times over the course of his career. I think if there's a player that I would expect to lock in something spicy like a Lulu, it would be him. Now, I want to mention that if I remember correctly, the Lulu games I have seen of him, he goes Ludens first item. I think he does eventually
Okay.
build into enchanter items at some point, but if I'm not mistaken, he will run Ludens into Cosmic Drive, something like that. I could be completely yapping and might be wrong, but I wouldn't be surprised to see his first item just be a straight up mage damage item, building into enchanters items following that. Now, I
Yeah.
want to mention, whilst the focus, of course, has been on the mid lane, Neriman is a really, really talented Kai'Sa player. And actually, both him and Royson were on the same roster recently. So I think maybe this is one of those things where he trusts his AD carry to pull through in the carry performance, put in a 1v9. And I mean, let's be honest. I'm looking at Kha'Zix here, and I'm like, this game looks impossible for him to play this.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, Lulu made it even more impossible to play. There's just so much burst on their team now. On the red side, I think Dustin needs to be very careful on how they approach the team fights. They have a lot of tools to execute the team fights, yes, but on the other side, they have a lot of tools to negate how you engage that team fight, you know. So as Kha'Zix, I'm not sure how he's gonna play it out. We'll probably see a W upgrade very early on, because he needs to be able to like kite. He needs to provide a little bit of CC for his team, I suppose. While we have a small trade here on, well, Renekton is just busting the balls of these Kazakhs, unfortunately. So, yeah, but you have an Oriana, you have a Varus that they have a lot of CC, and on the other side, I do not see a cleanse on the Kai'Sa, so you need to be careful. And they have a lot of burst as well. If you get hit by that ult, I mean, Xin Zhao, Renekton, Lulu, Kai'Sa, everyone is pretty squeezy for an Oriana, right? So, be careful of how you approach the fight both ways.
Whoa,
Oh, wow.
whoa, Prime
Okay.
going really aggressive onto Cypher, and despite having the flash, it's just gonna drop straight away. 2 minutes of laning, that's all it took for Prime to expose Cypher on the top side, and Verdant already ahead with that Renekton maybe looking to snowball through this lane.
Yep, I'm sorry, Mr. Croc, if I ever badmouthed you, but yeah, that was insane. Not even 2.5 minutes into the game, not even 3 minutes into the game, and he gets a first blood on the Ornn. Now, you don't like that as an Ornn. Well, you don't like that as your team to see the Ornn dying early on, but as an Ornn, you don't really care, right? Like you're gonna still tank up, become a huge beast at the. Oh, let's see here on the replay. So we have some trades here. I'm not sure he got W. So Ornn got W here, and as soon as Renekton hit that level 2, he just got E and dashed in immediately to secure that kill. And Ornn knew that he couldn't flash away.
Ooh, in the
Kaisa
bot
might be in
side, there's the
trouble.
2v2. Nerman has to pop the barrier. Flashes back into the bush to deny vision from Hoyes. But he is going to flash forward to claim a 1-for-1 for now. But FGG is so
He's out.
healthy. And Hoyes is with a slither of health. Noodle going to land the final blow to secure that kill. Verdant 3 kills to 1. Really far ahead already. 3 minutes into the game. And Dusty running out of options already, considering the fact that this Kai'Sa is going to ramp up in power as the game continues going on.
Yeah, a lot of scuffles here, and we're not even well into the game, and everyone just starts fighting and fighting. Now on the top side, Prime is a beast. He went back, he got that double longsword, and he is chilling right now. He's gonna be ahead in CS. He's very well on that, on negating a lot of minions from the Ornn. Now let's see again on this fight. Now Leona went in extremely aggressive onto the Rel, and Rel managed to actually survive. Now, all this time, you have this Varus hitting on this Kaisa, and he unfortunately misses the E here, but that Q did so much damage. Kaisa manages to level up on that kill on the Leona, onto the Rel. I apologize. So Varus has to follow up with a flash, and that just gives some time onto the Xin Zhao to get that very easy kill. So you have a Kaisa and a Xin Zhao on a very good path here to start the game, right? And you know, their composition really wants to fight. Kaisa, Leona, Xin Zhao, they favor fight. They are strong in fights, and they can burst your team. Like they can burst every single member. Even Rel can be bursted here. So they have a very nice wave right now on bot. They threw so much on that bot side. Right now they have a beautiful wave to work with, and well, Varus needs to be a little bit careful. He went for the lethal tempo. I love that he's not going for that Comet Varus that we've seen a little bit on the new patch that I hate it so much. It's so boring to watch. And he went for the lethal tempo. So that's going to make the lane quite even, because you can trade very well. But you need to be very careful. As you said, Neramin on the Kaisa is kind of legendary, so you know that they're gonna want to fight you over and over again. So play it safe, wait for your jungler to come in. As you can see, he's pathing bot now.
Oh my god. Yeah, in the top side, Noodle arriving for
They
the
can't
gank.
die,
Misses
no.
out on the Wind Becomes Lightning. Prime did use the Dominus. Key ultimate being brought down. Cypher is actually going to clear it through this wave, but Prime just playing on the other side. Sosa might take this as an opportunity to look for something on the bottom side. The Dragon is up. Called the Forge God is going to knock up Prime, but Cypher, this is a 1 versus 2. And understandably
buddy.
so, does back off.
You don't want to take that, and on the other side, they're just gonna trade camps here. Oriana is trying to check this Xin Zhao, perhaps. Ooh, maybe she could steal one, but no. So he's not gonna get all 3 of them. And on the other
Right
side,
on the bottom side, Royson going very aggressive, gets hit down with the crash down. Sosa has to flash over the wall so that he's not in the pit to play this one out. Neramin arriving to that scene and didn't. So much damage over to the side of Dusty as members are starting to drop. FGG walks away, a double kill locked in for Royson on the Lulu. Legions just has to slither away, but not successfully, as Noodle gonna land the Wind Becomes Lightning. One last kill, one last damage attack will do it, as 7 kills to 1. And I actually was going to point out the coach for Verdant. I know the guy, and he is known for drafting these early game team compositions, and it is working so well for Verdant.
yeah, exactly. Look at how Lulu survives here. That ult proving so worth. And then Kaisa just pops up, says hello, and bye to the Varus. Like he got popped. And the Lulu securing a double kill there with last hitting everyone was just lovely. I love how they draft such an early, aggressive early composition, and they execute on it. Very well played here by Team Verdant. And as you said, you know the coach here, he really likes his early aggressive compositions, and the players can pull it off, it seems like.
Yeah, I remember he was actually coaching ESL Premiership rosters back in the day. I think there was one under Cyclone. Anyone remembers it? It was ages ago. I just remember that team, like within that league, was well. Actually, I'm gonna stop my point because Royson could be getting ganked here by Sosa. This is a really nice aggressive play from the jungler of Dusty. He's gonna get the backup of Legions, but they're lacking in so much damage. Noodle stepping forward. Cypher is there, and look who's here. The Rel has arrived in here. Hoyes is also coming from the bot side. Noodle now under threat. Knockup gets missed onto Royson. Prime's gonna flash forward onto Legions, and the Orianna is gonna have to meet her fate. And Zazator has to run away. Noodle going to be under threat from Hoyt. The E going to miss out. Noodle might be getting away. Sosa manages to pick up the kill. Corner of the Forge God being summoned in as FTG making his move over to this. But the fight is already over. He does have Prime here with him. Might feel confident to go for more. But it looks like Dusty. They make a nice play in the mid lane. They lose Zazator. But they manage to kill 2 in the making. So really nice play from Dusty. Moving all the members into the mid side. Picking up some kills for themselves.
Yeah, very unexpected here. As we're gonna see in the replay, you have a Varus on the mid lane. I love it. So as we're gonna see, the fight starts here on the backside. Ornn is trying to take down Lulu, but he cannot do it. That allows a lot of time for the Renekton to just try and salvage as much as he can while the Xin Zhao is running for his life, and the Lulu just drops from the Varus auto attacks on the back end of it. Now, this was a 2-for-2 fight. The Kaisa, all these times, he was on the bot side, he was taking plates, he was taking minions alone. So right now, she should be well, ahead in XP, ahead in golds. He has the Kraken, as you can see, already completed, not even 10 minutes into the game. So she is a menace. And as you said, Neramin on the Kaisa, pretty legendary. On the other side, please look at Ornn. As I said, he's going to be behind in the CS. He doesn't really care, but not that much, brother. He's like 40 CS behind. Renekton is on 3-0-0, has the Black Cleaver completed as well, not even 10 minutes into the game.
Yeah,
a lot of spikes.
I think the purpose of the Ornn, yes, you aren't needed to be ahead, but your goal is to make sure the Renekton doesn't get ahead. And I mean, First Blood came at like, what, 2 minutes? And now he's so far behind. Fight could be breaking out on the bot side. Solar Flare tags on top of Hoyes. Cleanse is going to be used. Neramin dodges away from the Chain of Corruption. Royson is now here with Noodle, but I think they're going to call off the play. Beautiful movement from Neramin to just sidestep away from that Chain of Corruption.
I love how they just call off the play. They say, you know what, guys, we got exactly what we wanted. The Varus without Cleanse right now.
Oh, Legions in trouble. Uses the Shockwave defensively, and it's fine.
He has flash still. He had the Shockwave. I mean, look at this Renekton. Croc doing work here on the top side and just destroying his lane. Now on the bot side, this worked really good for a couple of reasons. First, you get the cleanse out of Varus, and second, you have to keep someone close to him. That means it opens up the rest of the map. As you can see, look at Rel. She went back and she's just going bot, while if the Varus could be a little bit safer, she would just go mid, she would clear. Look at these 2 wards that they have right on the Drake pit. She could go easier to clean those wards and get some vision for her team. Now, it is a very good timing because everyone is going to back now, but these small details matter a lot because these seconds, as you can see, the Drake is coming up, Varus went B, Kaisa is already going into the Drake areas, he's going to go bots, he's going to push very quick, you're going to have a minion losing again, lost again for the Varus, or if he goes to take that minion wave, that means he's not going to be there for the Drake fight. So that means that you're going to lose. Now they're trying to come up on the top side.
They're actually committing the teleport as well. Legions is going to be here. This is a cross-map play. Prime, oh no, that's not who you want the shutdown on. Not ideal, giving it over to the Ornn. I think that would have been much better on the Kazakhs or the Orianna, but at least you do shut down Prime. Just wonder, a lot was committed, and that's going to be
no.
gold over to the Orn bot side play. It's going to happen. Teleport being committed by Royson. FGG staying alive for now. The wild growth is eventually going to time out as he dies. Neramin gets hit with the knockup. Beautiful follow-up teleport from Cypher. Killer Instinct is going to keep Neramin alive for now, but he's eventually going to die. He tries to go for a flashy play to finish off Zazator, and then fails miserably for the side of Burden. Huh? Alright, my bad. Lulu mid is just the most broken thing I've ever seen in my life, as Royson somehow manages to snipe out Zazator with that Q. Meaning
very worth.
It's going to be a trade. Prime's even going to be able to get this top lane turret.
Exactly. Let's see the replay here, because this was also worth. Here, they're playing it so good, Verdant. So we're going to see, as I said, they need to be very careful, because while they invested all that on the top side, that allows the bot side very vulnerable. So they just TP in, they make the call, they do the play. They know Varus has no cleanse, although he flashed really good onto that solar flare from Leona. He goes down because that burst is extremely strong. The Lulu was here in time to just make sure that the Varus dies, and while we were talking, we
go back to
Lulu
live,
on the
and
mid lane.
Royson is dead. FGG gets the Zenith Blade onto Sosa, but Zazator is peeling immaculately. Cypher around the side, and that's an ultimate pot by Noodle, going to keep him alive for an extra bit amount longer. Cypher decides to go in, misses the wall, so no knock in the land. Prime, very strong, has the Black Cleaver, and then we'll just back away for now.
Oh, Kaisa is here this time. Hello, man. This time is not very worth. So, on the bot side, Kaisa is getting stronger and stronger. They're trying to deny Varus from being strong. He goes for that Blade of the Ruined King first, which makes kind of sense here, because everyone is just always a lot of more HP, sorry, than you, especially when you have that Lulu R as well. It makes sense, but it's not a very strong item right now, so I don't really love. I would prefer a Kraken perhaps, but he doesn't even have a Lulu behind him, because, well, guess what? The other team got it. Now this Lulu is proving very worth. She's dealing more damage than I thought. She kind of one-shotted the Rel there. She had like, what, 30% HP, and EQ killed her.
Yeah.
That was very weird.
Yeah, it was a lot of damage, but Herald is going to be started here, coming from Verdant. No contest.
Yeah, they can't.
For free. They can't, I mean, with Kha'Zix on the other side of the map as well, but FGG looking aggressively in the mid lane. Hoy's missing out on that flash. Zenith Blade gonna attack onto Zazator. As, look who's arrived. Prime has found a flanker to the Varus, and Killer Instinct is gonna finish off that kill. A third kill into the pocket of Neramin's Kaisa. And Hoy's, I was praising his gameplay, his experience before the game started, but it looks like the plan from Verdant is to target this player, and it is working very well. Mid lane turret now, Ching Chunk down Sosa, just focusing that Raptor camp, and well, what can you do? Dusty up against it, and off one play, one catch. Then they managed to get
Orn in trouble.
And Cypher now way too far up. None of his teammates are around. Royson's going to get another kill for himself. 5-2 on the mid lane Lulu. As I said, he does have Ludens.
Insane. He does have the Ludens. He's going for a supportive item, I think, right now, based on his items. So maybe a Moonstone or an Ardent. I'm not sure. But they have something for the bot side here. Look, now I think they have to call the play off. There's not a wave to work with, so they're gonna go home, spend all that gold. They're gonna take a red as well on the back end of it. So this was such a good, well, a series of events, let's say, for Team Verdant here. Now, the Kaisa is on a very good path, has the 2-item power spike. Yes, he went for the Ardent. So Lulu is going for an AP supportive kind of role here. The Ludens first is very funny, and I love that she builds it. Provides a lot of haste, well, that she really likes a lot as well, right? Now, Orianna is so far behind, man. I'm not sure how much she can do in these team fights.
Yeah, really, really behind right now, but obviously still useful. Neramin looking for a play onto Cypher. No flash for the
Oh no, he's dead.
Sosa is over the wall.
No
FTG
flash?
is going to meet him. Look how much damage Neramin is doing. Sosa goes over the wall, and Neramin goes invisible with the E. Flash forward from Noodle to get a knock up and a double kill. I've never seen a Kai'Sa engage a 2v2 in my life up until now, because that's the confidence that exudes from this player on this champion. And once again, it's a play facilitated by the bot laner of Bird.
Drake is up. They're just gonna back away from this top side tower. I hope no. He got greedy. He got greedy for the cannon, and yeah, you have to flash for that, brother. He got greedy for the cannon, and he has to waste his flash. But this is very good for his team. They just gonna get the Drake for free. They're on a really good path to victory right now. They pick an aggressive early Where are you going, Oriana?
Yeah,
I don't
Oriana's
think
trying
that's
to
a
take
prop
the
you
fight.
want to face, brother.
I'm-
He has two
I'm-
items.
I'm a little bit confused. They opted for the play onto the Renekton, but like, ladies and gentlemen, this is Infernal Soul Point. This is one of the strongest souls in the game. Amplification on the damage, and now Sosa getting caught out. FGG gets that Zenith Blade onto Cypher, and Neramin is gonna open up and barrage damage onto the front line of Dusty. Look how much damage the Kai'Sa is able to put down as he goes onto a rampage. Boys, he's going to try and do what he can, but even Lulu is starting to burst down. Killer Instinct behind the turret. Hoyes is dead. Triple kill locked in from Neramin, and that's straight up a quadra kill. And like you said, the absolute Kai'Sa GOAT showing up in this game up against Dusty as the AD carry of Verdant makes a name for himself as he sets his own platform for the stage to shine.
That was crazy there from the Kai'Sa. Neramin is just showing off. Like, let's see here on the replay. He's dealing so much damage. He doesn't stop hitting. He just hits after hit after hit after hit all the time until they are dead. He just executes here the rel with the W, and then he waits until he gets his cooldowns and killer instinct
Oh my
in to
God.
get that quadra kill. And he knew he could do it because he has his team to back him off there. Insane plays from this Kai'Sa player, and I'm just very, very happy to see this Lulu mid lane popping off. I love me a spicy pick, and Royston is just making it happen. They drafted so good for the early game, and every single member of this team played their role perfectly to just get those early advantages and be at the point they are right now. 11k gold ahead, not even 20 minutes into the game. 3 Drakes, you have a Baron spawning in 10 seconds, and I think they have their eyes on it. Look at the vision. Everything is red. They want to go a little bit aggressive, but I'm not sure you want to do that.
Jumping in very aggressively. There's a teleport behind, but Neramin is right there, and any fight you take with him around, it's not going to go well for you. Solar Flare right on top of the Orion, and Neramin goes in with the killer instinct. Hoyes is going to be the target for now as he flashes over the wall to finish him off for a double kill. Sosa has to jump away as he's being finished off on his side, and look who's alive. It's going to be the Rel, but he comedically has to fall. Royce gets a double kill, and 24 kills to 7. Verdant are going to land the final blow. That last team fight might have spelled the end of the game. They're going to choose to push through this top side inhibitor turret, as this is just a pure level of domination. Neramin came here to set his own montage, and it's now over to the Nexus turret. Sosa just has to watch as his turrets crumble right before him. And Verdant are going to shine through. Dusty, the Icelandic legends of League of Legends, won't be enough to stop the onslaught of Verdant. Legions is going to be able to trade one back, but that Nexus exists no more. That's a beautiful game coming out from Verdant, and a 1-0 for them.
I mean, I have to clap for this gameplay that I saw from this Kai'Sa. Well played, just destroying everyone. Neramin, he was an absolute pleasure to watch. Now the whole team executed this comp perfectly. They played for the fight, they played for the early aggression. Everyone was on point, the communication was there, and they just make everything happen. They know if we give just in a small advantage to this Kaisa. She's gonna take over the game, and that they did, brother.
Yeah,
Uh,
exactly.
Immaculate performance from them.
Really, really good performance. I would urge everyone to go and vote for who you think was the MVP of this particular game. But I think we both know who we would vote for. Neriman on the Kaiser. It was just a series of montage moments as the game went on. I think the biggest thing was both teams were committing to a lot of fights around the early game. But the one guy who wasn't there was the Kaiser, because what was he doing? He was in bot lane, farming, getting plates, getting resources. He appeared in one fight, killed everyone, and then everyone was just like, oh, I guess we're
Hello.
good now. Yeah. Hello. Did you forget about me? And it was over. So, yeah, really well played. I mean, do you want to expand on who you think was the MVP of the game?
You know what? Nah, it was this case. I mean, her movements around the map were perfect. I want to give a big shout out to this Lulu, because she was always there to help her teammates with that ult, with that shield, making someone a bunny. You know, all that value that she had was crazy. And first time, no, well, watching a Lulu for the first time in the mid lane on the while casting was an absolute pleasure for me. I don't know about you, but watching that Lulu just kill the Rel there on the bot side was so unexpected and funny for me. Like, you don't see that every day. Now, like, the whole composition was well rounded, and on the other side, the Kazakhs really didn't work out into this composition. I think the Lulu pick was so insane, it just negated everything from the other side, and it helped this Xin Zhao. You know how Xin Zhao is. He's gonna fight early on, he's gonna go for that objective. Even if he's alone, he knows he has backup, he knows he has a Lulu behind him, like, coming. He's gonna go for that 1 versus 2, 1 versus 3, because he is gonna be saved and perhaps kill someone. So well-rounded, insane composition, and very well played by the whole team. Kaisa was a very silent killer in the beginning. She was just at the perfect place at the right time on those first 9 minutes, right? So she got that kill onto that Drake fight that they had. She just popped up, said hello and bye-bye. Ciao, Varus. I'll see you when you're back in the lane. If I'm not mistaken, Lulu got a double kill there, but that allowed Kaisa to just push the lane in, go back, spend her gold, came in with a Kraken. They did the dive bot, like, everything was perfect, while the other team is doing something on the top side of the map. We're doing something on the bot side. The macro, insane.
Do you know what else is perfect? Is the fact that Verdant are the winners, and we can throw to our little plug. We'd like to remind everyone that Verdant, in partnership with Lodestar Esports, are making a difference to impact the world. Be sure to send in your donations. I think really important to add, we are matching donation to 1-to-1 up to 1,000 euros with a minimum donation 500 euros. So yeah, be sure to save the planet bit by bit. We are helping the world. And of course, that does close out today's games. It's been so exciting. I'm so glad to have brought you in to cast these games with me. I'd like to remind everyone that tomorrow there will be more games to follow, so keep your eyes peeled. Be sure to drop a like and a follow. Like and follow. It's doing some YouTube like and subscribe. No, drop a follow onto the Twitch. Drop a follow onto the Lodestar Twitter as well, just to make sure you're up to date with everything that is on a schedule for tomorrow. So thank you very much, everyone, for watching. It's been a pleasure. I want to thank Luna as well, who was on earlier. A beautiful, beautiful cast. I think it's been a pleasure. Thank you to the producers and to Lodestar Esports for hosting us. Have a lovely, lovely evening, and we hope to see you soon.